Good evening, good night, good morning, good afternoon worldwide. This is the Titans. Hey people, make I tell you tonight, tonight I got hard, you know. Let me just tell you now, we are going hard. All out upon them tonight. Not, my brother, I swear you got tough tonight, you know.
All right.
Yes, I swear you it's a tough show because, you know, me see them come up with some foolishness. By the way, me see them find some gun and ammunition on a wharf. Them say around 66 and couple thousand rounds well, you know. And when I follow away, more somebody send me something, we don't talk off more people, talk off, you know, some serious thing around this. So we see them some gun and some other things. Yeah, we'll watch that. Then we're you know, we always well and Joel is accountable for the lies and things. And we'll go back, we'll look on a thing with Finsac. We have a look at thing when we want to play with Finsac. You know, people want to take in this properly, you know, the Finsac thing, yeah? Yes. Saying, when they just take it now on the head, don't make them, then Jerry man going out with them one, call it with them always do it. That now man going out with them one, that now go work on you know. Well, I want them to account. Yes? Right. And the one is, you're going to tell people about fixing the academy and placing the academy. Me I play back that where you tell Mama P and Peter Phillips and Mark Gold in 2015, you know. You the 2 term already, you know. You do 9 years already, you know. And tell about fixing the economy and this and that. We know the foolish shit with you. And the next thing too, me see them, some little nastiness from down at the KCC. Say them going over clean and all. Because nobody now look for Big Mama, you know. You know what's that? Say them want Swebe to move. Swebe will clean up the place and everything, you know. Them want him to move because, you know, him bias.
Well, I mean, Swebe expose them corruption.
And them never said bias, you know, because them fool them cry.
Yeah.
So they deal with that. And then they say, I put up here so why you have Queenie at about pissing our wars and be a fuck with them again and nobody PMP can't spend their money. Me never hear them same nasty people that run out. Them not supposed to do on the council because them fool them cry already, you know.
Yeah.
We have to deal with for them case too. Make us start the show because right now I be a hammering, you know. Be a hammering. Make us start the show. Not worry about it. 1 a.m.
Start packing because you are going.
Worries.
Problem. Yeah, tell him, my brother. Worries and problem.
We don't know what them. Yes, we don't know, you know. Pastor Ricky, so we see him too, you know, because tonight not easy, you know. But let me tell you this. Me see them down okay. Let me send this to you because let me send it to you right now because we are dealing with for them case too. But Andrew Holness brothers, we now make him come on with them kind of little thing that we're going with and talk about, you know, fixing the economy. And you know, you soon feel it. These are the same thing in 2015 when Mama P did really fix the economy where he mash up. And him say, oh, make them vote for them. You have to pass the people's test. You remember? This exactly. Now is the 2 term. And they can fix the economy. What's the thing under recession? And by the way, PIOJ, you know, suppose me never see nobody from PIOJ, they want to put out the result and put out data. Me see you are run out in a observer. Well, me not even know for you coming out the observer dangerous too. I say, you know, we no call it a recession because we put an executive thing in it, maybe, you know, like the worker. You are punk. Recession. People don't feel like drunk. recession and recession. I'm not giving a chat round here, you know, because the phone can get moved to, you know. Because we not run proud, so we are the Titans. Now, so, brother?
Exactly.
Yes,
All right.
man. See you here.
We put up back this with Andrew Holness, you know, because we want to talk about him house and we are going to, because we have to talk about SSL and some other things. And we notice where like SSL, the property get transferred to a young Miss connect to Vals, them, right? Him son, wife. As a gift for something. You have to really look back on them thing, yeah.
Clear corruption.
Yes, because, you know, that alone, you know, that going on, we know,
Remember that Andrew Holness, so you can see the syndicate of them, you know, where Andrew Holness transfer Admat as a gift to Imperial.
So them love that gift thing.
Yeah, man. And Andrew Holness.
So we're going to take a look. But we are look for the sector from them, set it up and them crash it. Remember play this.
Series of news
Truth be told, in the drug cartel.
To the first in a series of news magazine podcasts. Get the facts. Addressing Finsac, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, the half that were never been told. Outside of Dr. Peter David Phillips, the man who rescued Jamaica from Andrew Michael Holness 2011, bitter medicine, prescription, and whose sound economic policies the country is still benefiting from in 2023, Dr. Omar Davies is easily one of the best finance minister Jamaica have ever had. He not only created the Financial Sector Adjustment Company to cushion the effects of the 1990s financial meltdown, but he lowered Edward Philip George Sega 1980s regime's 33 and a third % income tax to a flat 25%. Dr. Davies also.
Yeah, Umar 3-1 was 33 odd.
33.
Put it at 25. You all these things people don't know, I'm just rewinding. What Pastor Ricky? After we beat them until it bend and melt it up, then you just purify it for we, you know.
All right. Good night, everyone. Bless you.
Yeah, man.
Sir Byron,
and like, you know, so, you know, you have to just go and pray over the thing, you know. You could just go and pray. Hey, when you hear these people, get the facts, yeah? Continue.
Dr. Omar Davies is easily one of the best finance minister Jamaica have ever had. He not only created the Financial Sector Adjustment Company to cushion the effects of the 1990s financial meltdown, but he lowered Edward Philip George Sega 1980s regime's 33 and a third % income tax to a flat 25%. Dr. Davies also created the income tax threshold. Yes, the same threshold the Jamaica Labour Party used as a campaign tool in the 2016 general elections.
Dr. Davies with a threshold there, you know. But hey, me tell you, they're not come with nothing, you know. You have to know where it come from, yeah? Maybe that's why they can continue.
Dr. Davies also created the income tax threshold. Yes, the same threshold the Jamaica Labour Party used as a campaign tool in the 2016 general elections. He started the threshold to protect workers from excessive taxation. Finsac as we know it, was the solution to a problem which was started by self-serving, unpatriotic men and women with evil intentions, when for political gains and self-enrichment, they trigger what the capitalist oligarchs call a financial meltdown. This crisis started during the Jamaica Labour Party's JLP's second term of the 1960s. Edward Ssl Saga, the party's bright spark. At the time, he was to the party then what Holness is to them now. Their trump card, their great white hope. The party revolved around him. Saga, a Harvard-trained anthropologist whom had mastered the art of gerrymandering, he, like others who came after him e.g., Dr. Nigel Andrew Lincoln Clark, for obvious reasons had taken a liking to Jamaica's finances. He was credited with the transformation of the national currency from pound, shilling and pence to dollars and cents. It was said that during that same regime of the 1960s Ssl Saga created the Citizens Bank among other financial institutions. Fast forward to the JLP's 1980s regime with Saga as Prime Minister, and with him still masquerading as Finance Minister, he was often referred to as a financial wizard by family members, friends and other well-wishers. Sadly, this kind gesture seems to have gotten to this anthropologist's head, so like he did in the 1960s, Ssl Saga went on to grant financial licenses to a number of party sponsors, known party supporters, personal friends and other close associates. These institutions, whether they were banks, building societies, credit unions or insurance companies, did not have enough capitals to sustain their operations. They just did not have enough money or financial backing to be granted such a license in the first place. You talking about Citizens Bank from the 1960s, Caldon Finance Group, Century National Bank, Eagle Permanent Building Society, Workers' Bank of Jamaica, Blaze Trust and Merchant Bank to name a few. Since these institutions did not meet necessary requirements to be granted these licenses, I think it is more than fair to refer to them as Ponzi schemes. Citizens Bank, it is said, was so deeply entrenched into the JLP's constitution that even the color of the workers' uniform was the good old Bustamante green. The following is a list of some of the CEOs of the Edward C. Saga-powered Ponzi schemes. Richard Downer, Delroy Lindsay, Donovan Crawford, Henry Fullerton and his daughter Nicole, Oswald G. Harding, Dr. Paul Chen Young, who would later become a co-founder of the infamous Stocks and Securities Limited, and who, like the others mentioned above, ran away to the USA when it became evident that a financial crisis was looming. My question to them is, why run away if you were so sure it was the government that was at fault, and not you? Dr. Chen Young would return to Jamaica only after his party gained state power in 2016, he died sometime after. The Stocks and Securities Ponzi scheme also feature key players such as Hugh and Mark Croskery, Holness, Dr. Clark among other well-connected characters. Even though they weren't financially stable, the Saga Ponzi schemes with little or no liquidity, i.e., cash to operate with, would use the funds from depositors' savings to offer as loans to borrowers. To fund his failed Carinosa Gardens investment, Saga borrowed $20 million from his friend Don Crawford over by Century National and forget he ever did. Delroy Lindsay of Workers' Bank bought a side chick a 3-bedroom house for her birthday. Dr. Chen Young used all the money in the Eagle Group of companies to build a 5-story hotel in the hills of St. Andrew.
The big one though, that's where you go, pa. You know that big hotel here with them bill.
Crown Hotel up a Conchal Spring. Crown Hotel.
The money I'm doing, you know. Black Sun and Steel and them thing there. I remember that's why when Big Mama them come out, this is bull crap. Because when Dr. Omar Davis come talking, when him talk on my program the other day, you himself say, you know, you could have 250,000 there, you have one of them thing here, one of them bank business, and nothing, you know, no secure thing and nothing, you know, be a thing, so I got them go on with, you know, with them friends. Mash up Jamaica. Continue.
A lot of JLP supporters and ordinary citizens took out exorbitant loans, putting up their houses and other valuables as surety, defaulted on these loans, then complained about high interest.
So them default pan all them one fame one friend them too, you know, because them not have the money. Because them a charge them at the same blaze and the one of them can give them that, you know. I never have nothing to do with Omar Davis.
What do you expect when you do not pay back your loan premium in a timely manner? Dr. Davies created Finsac to take over and regulate the running of the failed Edward C. Saga-powered Ponzi schemes. His efforts saw the merger of a lot of these schemes with traditional institutions such as CIBC, Jamaica National Building Society, Bank of Nova Scotia, the National Commercial Bank created by Michael Manley, among others. My personal experience with this crisis, I turned up at the Eagle Permanent Building Society one Monday morning to see a big chain locked on the glass door with a notice that reads, "Account transferred to Jamaica National Building Society," and it gave the address of the branch. I went to the given address and there existed an account with my money. I got back my money because of the creation of Finsac. Ex-banker Nicole Fullerton gets 12 months. March 2, 2007, 12 a.m. Nicole Fullerton, former acting operations manager of the failed Caldon Finance Group, was yesterday sentenced to 12 months in prison for fraud. Fullerton, who was late last year found guilty of obtaining money by false pretenses and fraudulent conversion, was sentenced yesterday when she appeared before the Halfway Tree Resident Magistrates Court. However, immediately after being sentenced by Judith Pusey, Fullerton's attorney, Jacqueline Samuels Brown, gave notice that she intended to appeal the guilty verdict, and Fullerton was subsequently granted bail in the sum of $6 million, pending the outcome of the appeal. When the matter was called up in court, Samuels Brown presented 3 character witnesses, including Dr. Agri Irons, who Fullerton had been seeing in recent months, to give testimony on her client's behalf. She then made submissions to the magistrate to secure a non-custodial sentence for her client. At the end of Samuels Brown's submissions, however, Pusey remained firm in her decision to imprison Fullerton for both offenses and sentenced her to 12 months in prison on both charges. However, the sentences will run concurrently, leaving Fullerton to serve only 12 months behind bars.
Whoa.
Nicole Fullerton and her father, Henry, were both charged with obtaining money by false pretenses and fraudulent conversion after businessman Colin Carjon entrusted them with $133,000 United States dollars and 10 million Jamaican dollars. Carjon lost his investment after the financial institution went bankrupt and was liquidated in 1998. Carjon then filed a complaint with the police fraud squad and the Fullertons were arrested and charged in 2003. Note: None of the traditional institutions, namely BNS, CIBC, JNBS, NCB etc., fell victim to the Edward Saga conspiracy. They are authentic institutions. Is it any surprise that the Saga-created Ponzi schemes were the ones that went under during the Saga-induced crisis? During the Oret Bruce Golding's JLP regime of 2007-2011, oddly Shah was known as one-third. That regime had 3 finance ministers, this because the leader had little or no confidence in Shah's ability to manage the nation finances. The others were Senators Don Webby and Arthur Williams. It was that same JLP regime that Shah, in his capacity as one-third finance minister, spent millions of dollars of taxpayers' money on a Finsac report, which, when the findings did not meet the narrative he was hoping to achieve, he did not bother to table it in Parliament. That issue seems to have died a natural death. Sometime back in 2008, during that same Golding regime, Dr. Davies, in his capacity as opposition spokesman on finance, silenced the one-third minister during a sitting of the lower house of Parliament when it was revealed that he, Shah, as well as an unnamed minister of state at the time and other prominent JLP politicians, benefited from bailouts and had their bad debts written off when Finsac was created. For steadying the ship and bringing the financial sector back on track during that period of the Edward Saga conspiracy, Dr. Omar Davies have established himself as one of the best finance minister Jamaica have ever had. Finsac, I've lived through it. I am a living testament. Capitalists show a posse, fake prosperity keeps standing in the way of Jamaica and progress.
Oh, man, hey, Bella, you have to take in a piece and nice. I'm going to show them doctor thing that make we talk on this. I'm going to show them, when I say, oh, my, Shah, when Shah run out, no? I could show that piece, and I mean, see, I have no Finsac document in front of me, brother. I have them in front of me. I'm show the piece with Shah. I will show them with Saga. Saga do a country bad, brother. See? Him do it bad, brother. See, brothers?
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Mastermind.
Saga catch your country, you know, and turn it upside down, and then them blame. Yeah, them know for spin things, you know, Byron.
Yes.
They're supposed to hate the Titans right now, not you.
Right.
Melting Pot and Pastor Ricky.
Yeah, man.
We chat about this. This are wanna read this. Look at. This are when them come up and I try to blame and then think that tell us I'm have to write off. Omar David, I tell you the same thing when we just play a little while. See it? Just screenshot the thing we're going, people. See it? Look on this. Who will read it?
All right. Finsac bailout JLP ministers Davis, April 24, 2008. Opposition spokesman on finance, Dr. Omar Davies, has warned that he would have no problem revealing the names of members of the Jamaica Labour Party cabinet who had to be bailed out by Finsac following the meltdown in the financial sector in 1990s. His threat came after the People's National Party called on Finance Minister Ssl Saga to rescue himself from any further involvement in the Commission of Inquiry he announced at the closing of the budget debate on Wednesday. Right, at a PNP press conference Thursday morning, Dr. Davis explained that the previous administration was hesitant to appoint a commission of inquiry into the financial sector collapse of the 1990s due to the fact that officials with intimate knowledge of the information governed by banker-client relationship would likely be called upon to give evidence. Dr. Davis said it was felt that an inquiry would have resulted in possibly legal implications in terms of confidential breaches. The former finance minister said he had refrained from divulging sensitive information which came to him in his capacity as minister. He, however, noted that the utterances and actions of senior members because going up it's Saturday confusing. Yes, senior member and actions of senior members of the present JLP administration had led him no option but to make necessary disclosure, which he said would impact on the terms of reference of the proposed inquiry, conflict of interest. He stated that it's a fact that a senior member of the cabinet was a shareholder of an institution in which depositors had to be compensated by Finsac. Wow. He also stated that at least 4 cabinet ministers in the present government, including Finance Minister Holness Shah and 1 Minister of State, had their bad loans acquired by Finsac because of their failure to service debt to the institutions from which they had borrowed.
Yeah.
And now, you want me to continue read?
Yeah, go on, lied.
All right, Dr. Davis said, in each instance, despite attempt by Finsac to restructure the loans, the debt were not settled and were subsequently sold to the Jamaica Redevelopment Company. He stated that Mr. Shah's involvement in the process raised serious question of conflict of interest. He said, based on the information presented, Mr. Shah had no moral authority to lead the process for the inquiry, but the opposition is demanding that Mr. Shah recuse himself from any further involvement in the matter and allow the process to move forward independently. The former minister said the opposition stand ready to participate in the inquiry. Said support is contingent on their participation in defining the commission terms of reference. He said that though he had kept the name of other members of the present administration who had bad debt close to his chest, he is fully prepared to reveal those names when called on the Commission of Inquiry. Yeah.
And you hear these people, and then him call out Shah name. Because him say Shah, let me say I can't finish showing us something. Because Shah, you know, him did borrow some money with film business and I know the people them can't do it and them write off him debt. You know, see this store. And these are the same people them will come on and tell like say the 1990s are meltdown. I'm telling the people and I like and then them try to mix up the man named Omar Davis and think appear, you know better.
But Omar Davis fix the problem.
And these people you know, them are criminal long time, you know better.
Yeah, man.
Them themselves and him to be a face. Be a face. And big dirty thinking, mama, now. That's a big load of garbage. Run out about you know, PJ Patterson, and him come out back and I remember telling him, we're not allowed that one, I know. At the Titans, this. We are hold them to account. And the same thing we call Finsac, including Parton Young, it turned in a SSL, my brothers.
Yes.
It turned in a SSL. So we're going to move from there, so and we want to play this. Because we have other thing, you know, remember, you know, see, I got it war. Andrew, now, we see, before we knock, Andrew, I could look on Siaga, yes, so the money with Siaga. But we have to show Siaga ammonia. We have to see what of this with Siaga, no? This are young Turks. Every take out something for you know, and like we show the one of them, you know. Can't see that we have things from the inquiry. We have them right in front of we, you know, because we not ramping, remember, we have the ego, you know. So, we not play around of this. All right? So, I look on Siaga thing, I'm going to put it up. I put up Siaga thing. But that's why I look on the money and then I play something with Patrick Bailey. See? But we want to look on the money with Siaga. Siaga. It's a young to. All right, this is what we want to look on. We could look on this, brothers. Decide what Siaga. Yeah? And this is a Siaga company owes how much money this is more people?
443 million.
Yeah. And him have a resort, you know. Town and Country Resort, Field Hotel, operating company with JP leader with Siaga, put up the liquidation from 5 months ago, or creditors more than 440. Even when you see him this, and this come back in a way. Look on the data they observe. 2004. The government of the day, the PMP have a right to have some thing them theme to, you know. Yes. Can go in a GCT alone 155 million more, you know. And him carry them we have privy council in a bit. Look what see the GCT, a privy council there. See? Him carry them, go straight to privy council. So it break down how much money him who and everything, you know. See? So these when we say Andrew one is around this is 400 million, this Andrew one is around 473 million and all now we don't know where him get the money better. Eh? If they tell me how. But we could start from film that part of the Genesis. We could hear what the man has said. Him liar.
Is there any evidence?
I know of nothing. I've known nothing else that he owns in relation to ADMAT.
Okay.
He currently owns rather.
We checked the title for the Acadia property and found that it was indeed purchased by the same St. Lucian company ADMAT Incorporated in 2008, again when Holness was Minister of Education. The price tag, 16 million Jamaican dollars, around 219,000 US back then, and again, no mortgage was listed.
No, you hear these people? The man in a pay mortgage, you know. He not have no money, 1 room and 2 room, you know. And just coming at this and go turn a minister, you know. And the man buy the whole of these things. No mortgage. Cash. Continue.
Further, we also checked whether ADMAT owned additional properties and found one more. A half-acre lot, also built in Beverly Hills on Wycliffe Close in February 2009, also when Holness was Minister of Education, price tag around 15 million Jamaican dollars, almost 173,000 US dollars, and again, no mortgage listed.
Oh, but so this one in a 2008 and thing, brother.
2008 and 2009.
And 9. When they buy, the man I was around 60,000 work for the year. Right?
No, 6 million. Roughly about 6 million. 6 million.
6 million.
See? So, but this in the US, you know, where I buy more than all them things. No mortgage, brother. Continue. Yeah, that, right? Continue.
So you've never heard of this Wycliffe Close property before today?
Let me put it this way. I have never handled, and when I look at the transfer, I see the names of lawyers who I know. And he's entitled to have more than one lawyer. We all have to eat.
Brother, who's liar? Hey, people. Yo, them man are there, they hear this? You see that eat food thing, the people?
Yeah, man. Eat a food mentality, man. Eat a food mentality, you know.
We all have to eat. And of course, you hear this, brother? This unbelievable play it back. We wild. When I'm asking the question,
I have never handled. And when I look at the transfer, I see the names of lawyers who I know. And he's entitled to have more than one lawyer. We all have to eat.
So,
and is that girl laugh that in about?
Yeah, girl laugh. You hear it, man.
Yeah, she caught him in a lie. She caught him in a lie, and then him finally admit. Cause she bring the receipts right in front of him.
Yeah, my brother, Uncle, when them do something and I take man, I say, make me eat a food now. Yo, make you eat a food, man.
Yeah, man.
You all have to, you know, me never, at first, believe me, at first, me a liar mention something like this, you know. At the interview, me never hear liar. So we all have to eat, you know, eat a food. Me never hear liar say this before, you know, brother.
No.
The first one, me say this. That eat ya. Because me know, me hear people say it when them a hustle.
Yeah, man.
I make you eat a food. I eat that, you understand? But
Yeah,
we never hear liar with it. Serious. Continue. Because I know it's a professional thing where you pay your thing and them do them job, you know? Continue.
all told, when it comes to properties, there's the Great House Boulevard home that Holness and his wife bought with a mortgage while Holness was a mere member of Parliament, and in the fourth.
So, Uncle member of Parliament, he did have a mortgage with that. Me a member of Parliament, so I have to pay the mortgage. He never have the money. When you hear that, it's about 2007 before I'm an education minister. So you right with these property after education ministry.
For years, he was Minister of Education, earning the equivalent of around $60,000 per year, or $90,000 with allowances. There was the Arcadia apartment, no mortgage listed. The land at Waycliffe Close in Beverly Hills, no mortgage listed. The land for the Shenstone Beverly Hills house he's building, no mortgage listed. And around $525,000 spent building the house.
So, in by the apartment is not a land that, you know, no mortgage for the apartment. How much money he pay for the apartment? And him spend this bill that, him buy this, him buy other place. No mortgage, brother. And him a Prime Minister see him today, right now. And people are talking about Kingston and St. Andrew, them not like him say, hey, you met a go, you know. Let me continue. Let me play about this. This is unbelievable. This humble me, you know, Byron.
$1,000 per year, or $90,000 with allowances. There was the Arcadia apartment.
His apartment, this brother. So you know much money, like, you see them sell the apartment now, like, for 40 million. How much he pay for the apartment at the time? We don't know, but no mortgage, cash. He pay for it. Yeah.
No mortgage listed. The land.
You couldn't owe it if you buy it, you know, brother. You'd have some mortgage and do if you owe. You understand, brother?
Yeah.
No mortgage, that means him pay for it. Him own it.
At Waycliffe Close in Beverly Hills, no mortgage listed. The land for the Shenstone Beverly Hills house he's building, no mortgage listed. And around $525,000 spent building the house in the 3 years after Holness's Jamaica Labour Party lost the election in 2011. Holness, through a member of his team, said he wouldn't comment on the source of funds for any of his properties before the election, but even after, he didn't. He also said he would make his financial statement public at the end of March 2016, but he didn't.
No, but take it over now, by that.
All right.
The guy,
all right.
The guy from moving, brother. He must sit up on the ballot.
Where him get the money from? What's the source of income?
All right.
Funding. What's the source of funding, I should say?
Outside.
Okay, so let us begin, right, by saying all of the information that Lonesome had just presented, we are asking the Jamaica Labour Party administration if they can dispute any of the information. Can they dispute it? No, because it is 100% facts. Let me just also inform the electorate that as it relates to the People's National Party from 1954 until we speak here, because we know that we are going to send, right, some of the ministers, JLP ministers, in prison as it relates to 2025. We are going to send them to prison. So from 1954, right, until we speak, the People's National Party have been putting JLP ministers in front of the court, right, and convict them. Now, so let me start with this. When you look at the clip that Lonesome just played, and you hear some people said, both parties are the same.
Them sick.
Now, you wonder to yourself, are these people have any brains, any at all? Now, seriously consider this. When you look at two items, item number one that represent the People's National Party, item number two that represent the Jamaica Labour Party. The People's National Party always find the corruption of the Jamaica Labour Party and put them in front of the court. And guess what? The court found them guilty from 1954 until now. Now, let us bring forward to the clip that just presented itself. There are two persons that I am going to blame for the continuation of corruption as it relates to Andrew Holness administration. So we speak about Andrew Holness administration. The two main persons that I am going to blame for the continuation of Andrew Holness corruption is one, Paula Llewellyn. What on that one? Paula Llewellyn and the corruption prosecutor.
Yes.
These are the two persons that need to be blamed. Now, why Mystic Sensation is blaming those two persons. Let us go back to the Corruption Index 2025. The Corruption Index is going to show you that Jamaica under Andrew Holness administration had dropped 4 digits down as it relates to corruption. Jamaica was at 44. And the reason for Jamaica to be at 44 was the participation only as a result of the inspiration of Mark Golding. Why? Mark Golding that crafted the 2017 Integrity Commission Act, crafted the bill, and Andrew Holness piloted through, you understand, to pass it 2017 as the Integrity Commission Act. And immediately, it was recognized by the world financiers, right, who had now raised Jamaica 4 digits upwards. As a matter of fact, not 4 digits upwards, let me correct myself, because Bruce Golding had brought it to the lowest level,
right,
where the corruption index was reflecting 30 under Bruce Golding. Remember now, as it relates to understanding the corruption index, that anything below 50 is highly corrupted, anything above 50, right, is good.
Right.
So Bruce Golding, under Bruce Golding administration, it had dropped to the lowest as it relates to 30. So just imagine as it relates to 30 and it goes to 44, right? Goes to 44 as a result of the People's National Party, right? Giving it a 14%, a 14 points up. 14 points up, people. So people need to look at this. Look at this, right? And I'm speaking specifically to what we call peanut brain, who have the idea that Jamaica Labour Party and the People's National Party, right, are one of a kind. So I'm definitely speaking to those peanut brain, those nutheads, right? Those queer, how should I call it? Persons with a, you know that square head that try to fit into a...
Fully dance. Just say fully dance.
That is what, these are the persons I am
A square peg in a round hole, man. Square peg in a round hole.
I am addressing tonight. That when you look at your history and you see all of that as it relates to Jamaica Labour Party under Bruce Golding, drop the corruption index, right, to 30. Big embarrassment for Jamaica. Right? Now, People's National Party get in, right? And brought it 14 digit up, where we stood at 44. Where we stood at 40, sorry. 10 points, 10 digit up, where we stood at 40. Now watch this now, people. Watch this now. But it was at 40. Mark Golding, as it relates to the introduction of the Integrity Commission Act 2017 that crafted by Mark Golding, 4 points upward again, make Jamaica in a position of 44 on the corruption index for 2023, 2024 upward from 2017 upward. So from 2017 upward, right, the corruption index, when you read it, it is speaking that it is 44. Now, think of that, people. Now, so then the Andrew Holness administration, until now, what you have seen, the corruption index 2025, another embarrassment for Jamaica. Yeah. Big embarrassment. Yeah. Under Andrew Holness administration had lost 4 digit downward. So let us ask the question, and for those who talk about PNP and JLP are the same thing. Is it the PNP in power? is it the PNP is in governance that caused the corruption index, the world financiers to look at it, World Bank and IMF and all these people, to say that, okay, all right, we have to take them 4-digit downwards as it relates to the corruption index. Andrew Holness led administration. Now, when you have the corruption index, right, cause you to lose points, digit down in the corruption index, who do you look on? Let us ask the question for people who are thinking prudently. Who do you look on? Well, that you have to look on, the criminal justice system. Why do you need to look on the criminal justice system? Because the criminal justice system, right, should be capable enough to hold corruptors guilty. So when Mystic Sensation said, I blame 2 persons for this, the corruption index also blaming these 2 persons, right, which is Paula Llewellyn, the DPP. In spite of what you want to talk and speak nice and talk about testicular fortitude and all of that bullshit that you want to speak about, she sits on corruption and protect these corruptors. The corruption prosecutor had done that as well. Yeah. Right? Failing to prosecute Andrew Holness and his criminal network. So let us move forward in terms of what we have seen now, right? Where SSL comes into play. Right? You don't want to go so far away in. You want hold on. Because
we have to mash it up, you know, but we have to give them say, but we have to mash up the SSL thing. Can you remember we just give them the Finsac thing, you know?
All right, so exactly. Since okay, so we don't want to jump the subject. You understand? Yes. So since I deal with the Finsac, let me just confine myself to the Finsac. And then when I deal with SSL, we mash up the SSL.
All right.
Okay. Yes. So here it is as it relates to Finsac. So I want to stay on point. Right? Who we have as it relates to right the causation of the 90s financial meltdown. Right? Edward Siaga, Dan Crawford, Paul Chen Young, right? Hugh Croskery, the culprits.
Yeah.
Right? Now, look on the most excellent, one of the best finance minister who came under such pressure of these criminals with their Ponzi schemes, who can take up people investment, right? Millions of dollars of investment, lend it to them friend. As a matter of fact, give it to them friend. And where them friend can say, oh, you know, I forgot. Right? And so then literally steal investors' money. Steal investors' money. And here it is that it caused what we call a financial meltdown. A financial meltdown. So the government now has to come in now to rescue. This is how now Finsac came in, right? Remember what Finsac is, you know, is the financial adjustment, you understand, for this situation that occurred, right, by the JLP criminal rats. By the JLP criminal rats. Where Omar Davis, right, has to consult with some of the best financial advisors, because it is not Omar Davis. What people don't understand, you know, as it relates to how Finsac was created. People just believe that, okay, it is just Omar Davis just jump up and just, I'm going to create Finsac and just, no, that's not how it worked. How it worked is that when the financial meltdown happened and the crisis began, Omar Davis, being the Minister of Finance, have to now have dialogue, right, with some of the best financial practitioners and ask them, okay, all right, how are we going to do this? how are we going to be able to save the economy? Right? How are we going to be able to exercise in order to not have people, right, make a run on the bank or certain things are scared, right, or damage our economy? So it is Omar Davis, along, right, with financial advisors and financial educators who came up with Finsac so people get and try to understand what Finsac means. Finsac has nothing to do in terms of causation to the 90s financial meltdown, right? The causation comes as a result, right, of the Jamaica Labour Party, right, poor policies to create all of those financial institutions, right, that I and other persons, educated persons, will call Ponzi schemes, right, as it relates to Paul Chen Young and Associates and all of them. Those were the entities that caused the financial meltdown. And where, of course, Omar Davis with financial advisors come together to what? Create Finsac to help rescue many investors. So Finsac, the financial adjustment company, created to do what? Save and repay back investors. Now, what happened with the Finsac is that many investors got paid up. Many investors got paid up, and people need to do the research to have an understanding that what Omar Davis had done, you understand, was next to a miracle. Was next to a miracle. And I will say, I will just rest my point here and yield back for our next Titan to speak.
Yeah, man, when people come out and, try to implicate Dr. Omar Davis, like he was part of this Ponzi scheme that caused the financial meltdown in the 90s. It's the other way around. Dr. Omar Davis was the man that crafted and instituted the Finsac and make it into law. Now, Finsac was there as a deterrent factor for not having the same problem as it relates to the financial meltdown coming out of the Eagle Merchant Bank with Paul Chen Young and Associate. So this is why when in 2012 Ssl was flagged by FSC and they were still allowed to continue to operate, it showed that there were some players involved. Because once Ssl was red flagged in 2012, it should have been automatically closed down. Because that was breach of the Finsac regulation. They went in and they breached it. And so we are now seeing the same thing that occurred in the 90s. The financial meltdown. Because they went around the whole aspect of Finsac, formulate a group of players using the same fictitious identification coming out of the Paul Chen Young and Eagle Merchant Bank Associate. Because when you look, you see a prime minister involved, you see a minister of finance involved, you see a banker involved, and you see a businessman involved again. So it's the same numbers of players, only different specification in terms of identity. Yeah? But look at it. You cross the field from Paul Chen Young. Because you Krusty was Paul Chen Young right-hand man. And so when Paul Chen Young was deceased, everything went into Ukraski's hands as beneficiary. So Ukraski has been a player within the whole corruption of the financial sector in Jamaica. And everyone knew about Ukraski. So when we see that the Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, got involved with Ukraski, we know that it was the same dilemma that was going to occur. Because Ukraski will never change. It's a leopard. He will never change the spot. Never. So as a result of all of this now, we end up in the situation where over 200 Jamaican again were defrauded of their financial investment, including Usain Bolt. So we are looking at a repeated act of corruption. And how did these men get to breach the Finsac regulation is beyond my mind. Because no way they should have breached that regulation that was crafted by Dr. Omar Davis. As it says, it's the Financial Adjustment Company, right? Mean it is there to keep things in check, to make sure that customers are protected and to safeguard the Jamaican government from having to go down the road of another bailout where they have to buy the bonds. Yeah? So these men get away with it, as Byron said. And what they do, they come back again with a new Ponzi scheme. Because they have people in high position working alongside them as it relates to the DPP and the prosecutor. They did not want to move forward to investigate and to prosecute anyone because they are all players on the same team. So now we are in a situation where they want to flip it over. I hear them coming out saying that certain things happen under the PNP government as it relates to Usain Bolt money. No. The People's National Party will never get their finger dipping in any dirty corruption scheme. The People's National Party has always been a recognized party for transparency and for keeping everything in check and running as it relates to checks and balance. The Jamaica Labour Party has always found themselves middling in financial sector. Because coming from Ssl Saga, as the earlier clip said, he was elevated to the status of a financial wizard by his peers, associates around him, bigging him up as a financial wizard, when Ssl Saga was a criminal in finance. That's what he was at the time. That's why you could see where his company was delinquent by 443 million. That's why he owed so many money as related to contribution from his workers in his hotel. He never paid over to the government tax agency. So this man has been raging a psychological war in the financial sector. Andrew Holness copied the blueprint and using it currently because Andrew Holness was around the same Ponzi scheme players them. Ssl Saga bring him through and teach him the whole ropes. So what we have in front of us now is a blueprint that the Jamaica Labour Party used to rob Jamaica investors to gain the wealth. Because when you look at what they did up at Constant Spring, the top of Constant Spring with that Hotel Crown Plaza, that hotel has never been fully occupied. Never. Because that hotel where it's located is not in a prime location for visitor because it perched right beside a little community that nobody wants to be even adjacent to that and say you're in a resort. So it wasn't a prime location. So that hotel has never serviced its full potential. Yeah, that was a waste of money, but that's where they put the money. That's where they put the money to hide the money. So we have to look at these people. I just all the properties them that has been shuffling around into other people's name. This is how they play the game. Because when you look at what Andrew Holness did, as it relates to Zara Burton interview and all the properties that he were acquiring from as early as 2008 with no mortgage, but his salary could not afford him that type of investment. It shows that Andrew Holness has been in this thing for a very long time. Almost 2 decades. Almost 2 decades now, Andrew Holness has been ripping off the taxpayers in Jamaica. Because it lists in 2008 one property.
Thing they do. I couldn't finish with the Finsac and then we just run like a want to make a go up there. I gotta go up there now. But I could show them the Finsac. I put it talk back and you read it out to them. These are the people them that was showing a Dr. Omar Davis with the Finsac. Look on the judges and everybody. And they make quickly do it and then you just go up with Anjo and then we just knock it. Go to SSL.
SSL, all right. Put up the document to the Finsac.
Read this to the Finsac. Let me show you it. These are the name of the Finsac and when it's set up. Government paper people. We are showing the actual paper. We are showing the name of the justice, the man who depend the board. This is about the man mash it up. Right name Omar Davis?
Yes.
Omar Davis, the man blame.
Look on it. You look right, Mark. When you read it. See that?
So this is what we are saying as it relates to Finsac, identifying what Finsac was, right? The Financial Sector Adjustment Company, right? And where it is a limited liability company registered under the Company Act on January 29, 1997. If you look on people, if you look on the
look at the directors.
Look at the directors. You can see that these are distinguished. Distinguished gentlemen of Dr. The Right Honorable Kenneth Rattray, OJ and QC Chairman, right? Honorable Shirley Tyndale, right? OJ Vice Chairman. Mr. Patrick Hilton, Managing Director. David Core, OJ QC. Dr. Gladstone Bannock CD. Mistress Hope Markers, Mistress Kemorine Miller, Mr. Dennis Booth, Mr. Wilburn Perswad, Mr. David One, Miss Las Perry. So when people are saying that Finsac might be we're looking out for friends and this and that and that and blah, 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 blah. Bullshit. Look on the distinguished set of gentlemen who represent Finsac, right? And so then what they were doing, they were trying as much as possible, right, to cushion, right, the effect of the financial meltdown, right, in terms of trying to make sure that, some investors can get back their money. And many investors, right, got back their money. I think Lonesome, one of the problem with this, why the Jamaica Labour Party, you understand, try to spin this, was to the fact that the People's National Party sort of flock what we call public relations.
Yeah, them never have that.
Yeah,
the truth. Them People National Party come out and just work. I remember when when Andrew was spinning at 2015, them this and that, the people them never even know Andrew, she get it from 2011. The last of December 2011 when she win the election. Andrew Holness mash up the economy. Because he was a prime minister. So we can't just say Bruce alone. He was the last prime minister when she win. He mash up the economy. The same Andrew Holness.
Yeah.
I mean, people not talk when him attack because you know say Bruce did win for running, but Bruce stepped on a game. So him finished with the devastation, him and Bruce. And Bruce alone we are blaming better. Because you're prime minister for a month or 2 months or 3, you still play a part. You have to hold up the economy. You understand? He never do nothing to try and pay off IMF. Them default same way. That's why when she come in 2015, when it a bill up back, and you see me run out. And I say, but You have to pass the growth test. We have to hold them to account.
Yeah.
It's dangerous. You understand? Very dangerous. So we not allow that again with the PR stuff. Yes, yes, Pastor Ricky.
Yeah, it's evident, it's quite clear, it's obvious, whichever descriptive adjective we want to use to describe Finsac, another Ponzi scheme, and the former Prime Minister Siaga, who's a criminal. You have Adley Shaw, the former finance minister. Them collaborate as the government with people outside of the government, Dan Crawford, Hugh Krasky, and all of them. And Eagle Merchant Bank, where them used to give a lot of unsecured loans to people, knowing that the people wasn't going to pay the money back. And that's how them defraud the people them in this Ponzi scheme of Finsac. And them lie on top of that and say, oh, people commit suicide. There is no evidence of nobody commit suicide. But it was just a cover-up. And you know, this criminal government always a cover-up. And them specialize in a cover-up. But they're criminals, but they're not smart criminals because they always leave some crumbs. They always leave traces. They always leave evidence. Because them not smart enough, incompetent they are to give out unsecured loans, knowing that the people them where them give the loan to wasn't going to pay it back. And so them rip off everybody and enriching themselves. So they say this criminal JLP government that the CIA unclassified document aligned them with the shower organization that says the Jamaica Labour Party is involved in money laundering, drug trafficking, gun trafficking, unaliving people, and none of them can stop we from talk because that's in unclassified information as public record. And so when you look at the old scheme, going back to Siaga from in the early 80s and the 80s, and what they did to rip off these people, the same trend, the same practices, the same pattern continues into Paul Cheng Young and Associates them and, you know, SSL and First Rock and Dollar Financial and even the same Ponzi scheme them still are going with even today with the housing, indigenous housing, land grabbing. So this government always scheming people to defraud people. And, you know, Siaga dead and gone, but prior to this criminal prime minister, I thought he was the worst thing that ever happened to Jamaica. But when you look at what Bruce Golden did in this time, that the CPI, the score fell to 30 because of corruption. The perception index, corruption perception index, CPI score, that, as Sir Byron says eloquently, that measure countries that corrupt countries in the world. And any score below the threshold of 50 points is considered to be the most corrupt countries in the world. And under Bruce Golden and criminal Holness regime, that score dropped to the 30s. Comrade leader Mark Golden, as Sir Byron says, wrote the IC Act, you know, championed it, drafted it. And because of that, it brought the score up back to 44. And under this criminal who soon got prison that's in Jamaica House, the score dropped what they had to 40 points. So the level of criminality that they're doing in Jamaica to defraud people is even known internationally, globally. You know, them can't, Finsac, I thought was the greatest steal. But SSL now has become the greatest steal, the mothers of all scandal in Jamaica. And so whether them want to cover it up or not, we have the facts. Whether them want to cover it up or not, we have documents. Whether them want to cover it up or not, we have video evidence, documents, evidence, them word evidence, every words for them own mouth. We have all of them evidence there. Investigational journalism evidence. So when we speak on the Titans, when we speak on the Mystic Sensation, when we speak on Reason with Rattigan, We have produced document evidence. We have produced video evidence. We have produced them own words. So when I met a guy come intimidate you and talk about we are spread rumor and propaganda, because Finsac was a great steal. And then SSL become the mother of all steal. And so giving out unsecured loans to your friends and cronies during the Finsac, the battle meltdown, well knowing that Eagle Merchant Bank loans and so forth, they're not going to pay it back. That's what drove this scandal that created Finsac. Back over to you.
Yes, man. But there no brother. So me could just go and knock on because honest, yeah, get it. It's a 1,000-fold tonight. You know? It's a 1,000-fold. Me just say one little thing about that thing. I want me say, Vaz put out and say lies, right? Vaz, they put out something and say lies. I say PMP activist concerning 2013 sale of SSL building. Wow. So only one thing I said to you though, because I say lie, you know. One thing I said to him, see that people, not me. Vaz, me get something on that show where you don't say, see that? See? But me I say something to you, so according to you, I have taken note of lies, misleading information being spread on social media by PMP bloggers who are suggesting impropriety and seeking to involve me in matters concerning the transfer of building, which had Stock and Security Limited. Well, what a coincidence, sir. It's a coincidence, you know, because you say the fact is the company owned by prominent businessman Christopher Boerman, who is the father of my now daughter-in-law. Whoa, it's a coincidence again.
Yeah. Lonesome. Lonesome. When we talk about Lonesome, we talk about the company, the building.
You know, me know how it matter. That says a coincidence that he went to Cosby. Can listen to Cosby, we have the thing in there. But Cosby starting building start the second exchange before 2013. So this after the 2013, this after both money dropping out, the big money. Him get other place to go lease now in 2013. Can move from when they did originally. Because remember, you know, it couldn't be 2013 it start because 2008. When the company start, the company, it start before this. And then moving to the present place, don't it? Eh? Of course. But at 2012 both dropping money in it. Eh?
Yeah.
So from this to 2012, I'm going to a brand new place 2013. Eh? I saw it then. Because it couldn't be the same place. It couldn't be the same place, right? No. You understand what I say, brother?
Yeah.
So, this couldn't be the same. Couldn't be the same place. Because we did it somewhere. So it's 2013. Mr. Boerman was the owner of the building many years before his daughter married to my son. After concluding 2013 purchase, he had leased the building to the owner of SSL, who were already occupying the building. So them did have the building up so long. So Cosby in the building and then him buy the building after in 2013. Can you say him already occupy it? And that's it saying, brother. So him buy it from somebody, him say him already occupy it, brother. See? Okay, who were already occupying the building. SSL currently no longer operates from the building. Mr. Boerman last year transferred the building to my dad. So then wind it up for two then. So when I hear say wind it up and I move on the building, me think investigation and go on the building or what have you or something. So SSL done with them, Byron.
Basically.
Yes, because the building transfer. So where me not hear to transfer the building from? Make we just ask. We can't remember the lie we are talking now, we know. We just ask about the building, the transfer. So Cosby didn't have the building then. And then the man buy the building with Cosby in it. And that him I say with SSL in it, right? That thing said 2013.
So the question, who won the building in 2012?
Him said, me want to know now. Well, me can't look back, look on it.
That is the question.
Yes. So
And the
we
next
2012 and before.
The next question is, when was the Kroll investigators submit their report from SSL? Because how are you going to sell a building that is a part of an investigation and is in the middle of it?
Let me say something to your Travel TV. This now have nothing to do with Bradback. This is a personal building with SSL. What Bradback are doing at this? Bradback for fuck off, you know. I think him no want to get too mad. So you say ask Bradback water. Why we ask Bradback this? This building belongs to him. Who is Bradback, by the way? Him for go away. Him a shit. Why if you ask, brother, me could not talk about a building and Mr. Vaz ask. So we are asking some question because it's legal to ask question. Because we see the building, that means the building transfer for you to your daughter-in-law. But you I said them tell lie, but yes, still it transfer for you. Or it will be lie, Byron. If the building transfer for you, and you say the father want it and transfer gear as a gift, that means it's not like somebody I tell pan the young miss. She get it as a gift. But SSL, we know SSL at night, and it so happened to be that your son wife, you know, if your father own it and it transfer to her as a gift. And the SSL wind up. So that it look aware that people have to ask question. You can't stop people from ask question, you can't say a lie. The building transfer it not. She won it? Yes, she won it. Our father gave it? Yes. He gave it when? Last year, yes. Then what the lie there? Where is the lie? Don't it that house SSL? Yes. SSL never asked the Byron.
Well, what I want to ask some questions as it relates to, right, and get full understanding where this transfer, what this transfer mean. Is it speaking of, right, the building, quote unquote building, or does it indicate, right, where SSL, right, as it relates to bonds, stocks, properties? What is this that we are dealing with? Because if you look on the situation where you speak about SSL Venture Capital, what really got transferred? Said Jason Lindo has 800 shares. Shannon Vaz has another 800 shares. Unassured shares 400. Estimated value, right, is $3 million US, right? So then, what is this that we are talking about? Is it there a deflection in terms of just talking about building? What transfer as it relates to the value, right? What value proportion in this thing because here we talk about an estimated value of $3 million US. So is this has to do with investors monies buying up stocks, right, buying up bonds, properties, or other financial instrument? Remember, as it relates to Paul Cheng Young and Associates loan sum and melting pot. Remember that Paul Cheng Young had done the same thing, right? Where they buy up properties, right? Under Paul Cheng Young and Associates. So this is what I'm asking, because we don't want to because we don't want what Darrell Vaz run out and speaking about a building, right? As it relates to the building. We are talking about what are we dealing with? Are we dealing with as it relates to what hand over, right? As it relates to the father handing over what? What SSL Venture Capital, right? What does it contains? What does it contains? Because when you look at shares and all of that, and the estimated value of the shares, which is $3 million, what are we dealing with? That is my question.
All right. So let me say something to you again now, Byron. So this means that the company complete the wind up then. It done. Yes, to the people that get back the money. Because SSL it exists again.
Exactly. And if this is very good question, Lonesome. If this is so, if this is so, because remember, all right, let us make the people because I think might be the people getting confused. So let me just clear up this thing as it relates to making an example and give a detail. All right, let us leave this alone. Let us get back to ADMAT. Now, Andrew Holness used ADMAT to purchase properties. What Andrew Holness had done, right, was not so much of tax of avoidance.
No.
What Andrew Holness had done, where people don't realize, was that Andrew Holness did not want to have ADMAT in Jamaica so that ADMAT can be investigated for corruption.
Yes.
So people need to understand when people are talking about tax.
Man.
Yeah. But blessing. When people are talking about tax avoidance, right? Tax avoidance is foolishness.
Yes.
Don't make that cover over your eye.
Yes.
Right? Andrew Holness, right? Make sure that ADMAT was out of the boundary of Jamaica for it not to be investigated for corruption. Because ADMAT need to explain.
Let me shake your hand again. Listen, at this me I talk about a long time because when me hear, me say this about tax. Because if you're big, remember me say it, when me say if you in the place, you still have to pay your property tax and things. So
exactly.
But who said this? Patrick Bailey talk about the tax so people run with it. Hey, if a man know them spin things,
Exactly.
It couldn't be tax.
All right. So this is exactly. So let me explain it now. So Andrew Holness make sure him set up ADMAT in St. Lucia and use ADMAT to purchase these properties in Jamaica as a result of, let us use the word, possible corruption money. Now, where he cannot explain right now. Remember now, St. Lucia had changed their laws. And as such, St. Lucia now, right, is asking, right, these entities to pay tax, and not only to pay tax, right, to get rid of the shell companies and have actual salary company where people can be employed. So St. Lucia changed their status, which now Andrew Holness, right, have to continue his level of criminality, couldn't stand up with the policy change, and so then what Andrew Holness had done is transfer ADMAT as a gift to Imperium.
Right. That is it.
Okay, let us go back to this SSL thing now. So we make the people understand how they use ADMAT as a gift to transfer that gift, right, into Imperium. So now Imperium now, in its sense, true sense, right, become ADMAT, intake with ADMAT owning all those properties that ADMAT. So that is what you call a money laundering washing mechanism that just executed. All right, now let us go to SSL with this. So when we see this 2023 transfer, what we are asking now as investigators, what financial instrument got transferred with SSL?
Right.
Because this entity is under investigation.
But it was drying up according to Darrell Vass.
Right?
Him said last year, because I could look back on this, say him that time last, the father only 2013. But SSL didn't there before. So you tell me, say a man like Crosby never buy the building now, him just operate in there.
All right.
And then go buy it.
It's part of the cover up, man. Don't transfer for cover.
Like this. And you know,
exactly.
That's listen, don't transfer it yet, sir. You are transferred to your daughter something of value much 100 million as a gift to your daughter. When last year him said transfer to him daughter last
year. He came him just hear about this. I lie my thing. Him not just hear about this. Them know everything what going on.
No, but what me I said to them, when me just ask a question, me I say, me think no, that mean SSL done with that you have the woman. That mean the man, that's why the man could have fly out or something then. You know, she said, them are bamboos that run, not even the building, not the Fear say, make me go do this and do that. It gone.
Exactly. So,
It
so
gone.
what you mean?
And Father Alonso, Nigel Clark laid the report for 2 years, him sit down on it after him get it. And him don't look on it for. So if them transfer the building during this time, that means it's part of the cover up because the investigation was just probably winding up or almost ready for winding up by Crow. So how come them are going to transfer the building?
No, that means crime scene. All right. Let me say, if you want a building, you have a right, you can give it. But me I say more to do it at this time. Me I say that means SSL. So, all right. So Byron won the building, but if Byron are transferred to his son in a them time, I wouldn't even want to do that. And then the son connect to your data then, and you're a politician and you know the house and you own this, they say in a cabinet, and so it connect to your family member, and him connect it, him transfer to him data, we connect to your son, we connect to you, and your minister, and your Andrew Empire. And then Andrew get 100, so it don't look good none at all, you know.
Exactly.
It's part of a crime scene.
Lonesome, let us put out something. What I want on the Pastor Ricky. Lonesome. That's why the question I am asking is very serious. Because when we talk about ADMAT, we understand that ADMAT, right? Prior to ADMAT, transfer as a gift to Imperium. ADMAT own entities, valuable entities, right? ADMAT own roughly about 5 different entities. Were in ADMAT. Now, let me ask Darrell Vaz this. The transfer that you are talking about as it relates to the 2023 transfer, right?
25. 24. 24. It's a 23, we see, but it's a 24, which the people, let me tell you by the way, Darrell Vaz, you see, remember, say, you have people with the transfer, the title, and when the title show you and it's stamp.
Okay.
And
so
you
what?
title.
All right. Yeah, so Lonesome, so what I want to ask, right? Yeah. What financial instrument that this SSL entity owns? Does it own?
That means it never own nothing. It no own a building. It no own nothing at all. That means the people, the money just thief and gone. It was a real Ponzi scheme. I'm going to Prime Minister alone will say, no, because it not one nothing for pay you back in a pit. Not even the building it one could have said, you know. It transfer. Same like well, no moving a better. You remember when this just bust, the first thing because with them do, you know. Them have a youth name, a man named George, what name? George Shai? George Shai name? George Shai, what name? Him said, him owe George Shai, how much money George Shai? A George Shai name melting pot. Him gonna take in $300 million bill property in a Mosque Center now somewhere there so. And when look, Big Mama run out, say George Shai sees the building. Liar. Me say that can't work. You know when them come apologize, say no, the liar not sees the building. Then the oligarch carry himself go to court. For do I cannot forget give the man building can owe the man money from way back when. So the building for transferring the man name. You understand? So you know, me not understand, but SSL that mean SSL no one nothing. You no one nothing at all. But yesterday have much billions of people, not even the place where you operate the own. That man own it where it's him daughter now other one son wife and him give him daughter it not. So SSL why not? So so all both get back your money in a real life.
But remember, Lonesome, remember I told Bolt that he's not going to get back a dollar.
From day one.
And this even prove even more so. That, no, he's not going to get back the same. Right? And that is one of the reasons why we are saying to Bolt, we are making the suggestion to Bolt. You understand, to seek external help, and that is the only way that if you put this, right, as it relates to the federal authority in the United States, you understand, so that they can track their United States currency, right? It will be a different thing than the Jamaican government authority over that investigation. Yes. And that investigation from outside now would come into Jamaica.
Jamaica,
You understand?
definitely.
And then, because number one, the federal authority of the United States, as it relates to crawl investigative work that had been that was done, right? FBI or other entities who would be pursuing this, you understand, would might be want to contact crawl, you understand, to have an understanding in terms of where crawl left off and where that they can pick up. You understand, and cover all the thing, because they are tracking their United States dollars as it relates to might be major organized crime, transnational crime, and that would be now seriously affect, you understand, this situation as it relates to the SSL case being suppressed by this corrupted government. Because let me tell you something, and I can say this to Paula Llewellyn. Let me predict Paula Llewellyn. And let me tell Jamaica this. Gene and Pantan, right, is not going to be found guilty of anything. And let me tell people why. People are going to shock in terms of what Mystic Sensation is saying. Relative John, Mystic Sensation, where is something like that? People think of it. Gene and Pantan has all the skeletons in the closet. Gene and Pantan know the inner workings of SSL and know everything that happened with SSL. Now, Gene and Pantan for sure is not going to take any form of penalty for nobody. So what they have to do with Gene and Pantan, have to give Gene and Pantan a little thing to keep our mouth quiet. And Gene and Pantan is going to end up, you understand, just get a little ease off. This is where Paula Llewellyn comes in to do that work, to clean up the mess. Paula Llewellyn is here to clean up the mess. Now remember that Mystic Sensation said this tonight on the Titans, that when Paula Llewellyn finished with the case, and may I put Paula Llewellyn in a position because I know that Paula Llewellyn is in a conundrum, right? Now, where it stands, Paula Llewellyn has to find some reason, some solutions, right, to make sure that the penalty doesn't reach Gene and Pantan. Because if the penalty reach Gene and Pantan is going to fly the mess. And when Gene and Pantan fly the mess, it is not going to good for Andrew Holness. It is not going to good for Crosskerry. It is not going to good for who involved. So the best route that they need to take is to make sure that Gene and Pantan, you understand, get off this case and make sure that, of course, not only that Gene and Pantan get off this case, a little thing put on there for Gene and Pantan. You understand? And this is the plain truth about the matter. And I'm sorry, Bolt is not going to get anything.
Brother, me said from day one, you know, from the first video I put, remember I tell them, say, him go about this, sure no, because VS, come out, come talk, and VS, remember, you're threatening to scare nobody if you just go in. You can't, you are a politician. Remember, just tell you this. Yeah? Enough. Yeah, you have to be careful that you look at dirty threat then. You not scare nobody, boy. Yeah. Okay. So, and question me, you're a politician. Remember, you're not the public, and you can't tell me nothing. You don't do that. You look at requires a piece of shit. Remember, we know you know him from them kill Lucian or son. That look like requires a piece of shit. He man a liar neither, you know. He might require shit. Let me just tell you straight. All right. Can't be a links them up and down. You know what this mean? After them talk about winding down the company, and we say the only guy can try wind it down. Them talk about, you know, you sell the asset now, and if you get back anything, you tell me say SSL with so much billion don't own no asset at all. And the two look a computer, them thief, and you're honest. You really look on, you know, say you're wicked, on evil. Do all on evil, you know.
100% pure evil.
You tell me, say, SSL don't want no asset at all. You say, them sit on a plan. And how you say, Andrew only said, enough more cabinet member, enough more of them in that. If you're my shop, DPP, you invest in a SSL, you have anything in there? You get anything from it? Can we ask a question, you know? Yeah, I'm not ramping up by one. See?
Yeah, all right. What, when?
Yes.
Teresa Graham asked something. The question that Teresa Graham is asking is absolutely true. Yes.
Yes. So it's like
this sensation answer you. Yes. That's exactly what it is. Andrew Holness has no interest. But you understand in running the government. As a matter of fact,
100.
To show Teresa, right, why that is so it is the very same reasons why Andrew Holness did not sign the code of conduct and influence his men not to sign the code of conduct, because this was premeditated and they were going to execute it.
I remember play some things with this because Andrew come out, you know. Andrew, remember, you know, we wouldn't know. Let me tell you, so when you have a prime minister, people, him to be honest to the people.
Yeah.
Him to be a road model that people can look up on him and them. You know what, no? Fingers Smith and some people and them palette, we're done with that. At 2025.
Yeah.
See? You can't have a prime minister where, you know, them now own accountability and them trick you. No, him alone get where to collect money from SSL. SSL don't have no asset.
Yeah.
It not own no asset. And if you know what the court case don't make no sense, because when you don't have people so when I get jean pant and wheelchair, it not make no sense. SSL no. When face one out comes about I'm father father they own the building 2013. And now she get it as a gift.
Yes.
Yeah,
people them attack to get it as a
We want
gift.
to boil it down to a building. We want to know, you understand,
And I just the whole yard.
what are the assets, what are the financial instruments involved. That is what we want to know. And we don't put it, you understand, and narrow it down to a building.
Narrow it down, and then the building gone now. So no asset. After Ligel before him go where I say, them are going to see the asset and this. Can you come and talk these things, you know? Can you liquidate a thing, that's the asset where you can sell and recover something. You now have nothing to sell. The young miss get it as a gift. Our father did want it according to VS, according to them. Yeah. SSL never won nothing at all.
Yeah, it's just
billions in that building.
Yeah.
Billions.
Father alone, son. It's just an intimidation tactics in my use for try silence.
We're not going to
be silent about this. We're going to be this every single day.
He can't go find some other people. Listen, me, man. We not see it. So we never talk, but us attack over.
Yes. We have liar to we can't get in we can't get him forget the post.
He can't shut up nobody boy. He can't.
Let him know say when this got to discovery.
Nobody not him neither. Then you come out for the ballot and go away. You understand? See? So we know in that with him neither. So we don't gotta tell him that. When you come out and things, oh liar, them liar request, them enough of them are judges to and criminal, you know. Enough of them liar, they involved in a money. I remember we know enough of you know. I'm a part, listen, some of you now go to prison, you know. Remember me telling you this. So nobody go pose up with VS and make una feel so una big. Enough of you shit. Yeah? Enough of you shit. All right. So make we just tell them from now. We are saying now have no money, brother. It now have nothing. All this. So what the case them for? Nobody now get back nothing then. And I'm like you can go seize a car and seize a building or something. It now have nothing. Them wind it up. Andrew always make sure them are sinning Andrew. You have to come out for the ballot. You're evil. You're evil.
Brother, let me just end something. This is why Usain Bolt have to come in that space, you know. Yes. Usain Bolt, are you hold the key, you know, to the big solving a SSL and to make people go to prison with no apology. You understand? You need to come because if you come now, you know, this is where FBI going to get involved. These people have been strangling the due process in Jamaica because they have the players them around them. So the DPP, the prosecutor, no law enforcement agency as it relates to motor, CTAX and MOCA, them now go participate in it transparently. You see, you have to get FBI on this case. You have $12.7 million. Plus you is one of the biggest investors in the company. You need to also show your weight so the other 200 people them can get back their money. Because them people are not supposed to do the same thing against Strike Lightning twice in Jamaica and get away with it. The same way them get away with the meltdown in the 90s. Paul Chen Young, they died the whole of the property, them 19 property in a Tampa Bay. All the shot, the whole of them. You understand? And nobody not get nothing back. And the Jamaican taxpayers and the government have to buy the debt them. And help give back the people them the money. So you see, and if you not come right there, so that's why them silent, you know, after you tell them, you give them a 10-day warning, you know. You notice how them get to you and calm you down for 2 years. Have to do like what them do. Yeah, because that's why I see now, said even the building transferring at 2023. You understand? Even the building, the physical building where SSL operate out of, even that gone, so SSL never have nothing. SSL was a Ponzi scheme shell company orchestrated by Andrew Holness and them counterparts them for the fraud Jamaican. That's why rightfully Andrew Holness never signed the code of conduct or asked the member of parliament them not to sign it. Which prime minister do that? If a prime minister clean, him not refuse from sign code of conduct.
Sure.
And the member of parliament them will sit in cabinet have to do it as well. So Andrew Holness has shown from the outset say him never clean. Because code of conduct for run the country properly, and you refrain from signing that as the big man for the country. Then tell me, you know, so this is a Ponzi scheme Andrew run. You think a government Andrew run? A Ponzi scheme Andrew run using the office of the Prime Minister and the Parliamentary House. That's why I'm bully everything. That's why I'm by all might to lock up the opposition them in the Parliament. To the need to cognizant and to these things. Right? Because even if you have a speech in the House, the People's National Party was not accommodated at their own will. They were accommodated as to the Jamaica Labour Party whenever they want to turn them on and turn them off. That's why Andrew Holness run out and talk about him can turn it up and turn it down. That was the same just time I used as it related to what was going on even at the Parliament. So we cannot allow them to get to again, you know. Because remember I told you them have the blueprint already, them know how to work it. But you, Usain Bolt, you're the big man in the business right now for bring down that empire there. You need to get FBI at your personal investigating arms. True. Because this case not dead yet, you know. True. But if you sit down and wait upon these people to come give fancy talk in your ears, it will die out. Because it's gone 2 years already. So you have to move. You need to come on this platform. This platform, the Titan, you need to make yourself present here. Because we've been fighting for your cause from day one. And you have been several places, but you don't come here. Why? Did they tell you not to come on the Titans? Not to be around Wayne Loan from a Mystic Sensation? You must have been told not to. Because I see you doing interview. But those places you went and do interview, that them platform that cannot help you.
We never call him. So we call him, man. We just invite him, man. We never call him.
Him should have come long time because we are fight for Usain Bolt. And him knows how the thing is. You understand? We shouldn't even have a call Usain Bolt, you know. We fight for Usain Bolt from day one. We expand a whole heap of time and energy in a Usain Bolt thing with SSL.
But brother, you know what we can do? If you not charge the right people then, all the people might get, because they make sure Gina and Pantan have no more. You notice everything wind up, Gina and Pantan have a wheelchair people.
Right.
But man, the big mama them run out and she don't want it. She want a wheelchair. So if you get free, do something with that lady here. Because them think, remember them think Kevin Smith under the bus, you know. Them kidding. And then DP, that's what I tell you, she's a nastiness, you know. She run out and tell about in Canada. Him not commit a crime. Him never commit a crime. And I like, because if somebody do something and them do it, you not charge him, that means that innocent man wanna kill. Till you charge him and prove him guilty or something. Him tell a man, say, if we go do this and the man do it, and no one upon him and no let go the police them. I wanna kill him because he know too much secret about you know. And then no she run out. And I talk about him trouble man in Canada. That have nothing to do with nobody in Jamaica, you know.
Yeah.
No.
Not at all. Then kill him. And I know we don't see white drive the white van. So no one kill Gina and Pantan. Same way. Actually, we tell them say if them kill her always, you know. That's why them not kill her yet, you know. Because Jamaica is a rogue state, you know, brother. Run and you know, and in many hands. It's a rogue state right now, run. It's a rogue government. Very corrupted. Criminal government. The corrupted government around. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, both just make your management team just contact FBI, man. Right away, man. Cause them give away the building, you know. Them give away the building where SSL operate from. You understand? And I sell it, you know. Them give it as a gift. But it's not, it wasn't given to us. Them still retain it, but them just transfer the name for the ownership. And it's a syndicate, a player. Bold, get up, man, and put your foot out there like what you used to put it on the track, man. I hear you say several hours are your running time, that, you know. And it's true. You need to get up off of your comfortable seat where you sit, man. Yeah, man. You have money, man. Just I want to tell you about. You have the world behind you, you know. You have the world behind you. Yeah? So you just contact FBI. Bring in the FBI. Because remember, you know, Nigel Clark tell we Jamaicans say FBI I come deal with the case when it's live because they know they could not involve FBI. Because FBI is a part of the United States, which is their currency, is at the center of this corruption scandal. So FBI would have more interest in it. That's why they bypass FBI, but they make sure until we say FBI. Because FBI hold the key to this.
I could play it now. I could play the Andrew one is first, but I never know. Not at all. This is a man now where we look. If I never the IC won't know some collect 143,000.
That's why we have to clap IC, man.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness has hit back at critics over the time he took to comment on the multi-million-dollar fraud at Stocks and Securities Limited, SSL. For almost 2 weeks, the fraud has dominated headlines locally and across global media. But Mr. Holness said he only wanted to address the matter when he had received the facts. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has been facing backlash for his delay in commenting on the fraud case involving over 40 investors, including Sprint legend Usain Bolt. The opposition and other quarters of society have questioned whether or not the delayed response was in a bid to cover up information. But Mr. Holness says not so.
There was this query as to why I didn't jump out with a statement immediately. Simply because I have a duty that when I speak, the information that I provide must be unassailable.
Remember, people, when they must say this, you know, him have the 144,000 US already, you know. From 21, you know. This is all a man of evil, brother. A man, and then hear this more clear and drop word. Hear this, I drop word from PMP other people. Hear this.
And that means you have to take time to verify. But we saw in the interim that some persons had a field day with misinformation.
You know, some wicked do. Come off of my screen. You know, some evil.
Stay out of order, man. It's not no manners, man. It's a stinker.
Yeah, well, Nigel Clark come and say yes, so hear this.
Prime Minister has said there will be full transparency in this matter. No stone will be left unturned. The investigative authorities have full operational independence and will pursue the facts wherever they may lead. They will unearth exactly how funds were allegedly stolen, who benefited from such theft, and who organized and collaborated in this. The probe will also seek to identify whether assets have been acquired with the proceeds of this fraud, whether here in Jamaica or overseas. If and when such assets are identified, all legal steps will be taken to restrain these assets with intention of full forfeiture. Having spoken with some of those leading the investigation, I can say that they are resolute and determined to unravel its complexities and bring all responsible to justice. In fact, based on the magnitude of this fraud and the lines of inquiry being pursued, the Financial Investigations Division and the Fraud Squad have already, last week, sought assistance from the Federal Bureau of Investigations, the FBI, and other international partners.
From last week, you know, them saw FBI.
Despite this unfortunate development, Jamaica's financial sector.
So this is how the man alive. But I continue with even a bigger one of the FBI I speed up. That means you know have the more investigation that's going on because you don't have a building, you don't have a SSL again, you know. For going there, you know have no, you know have the workers, you know have nobody them disperse them.
Computer, everything. Laptop, everything, move.
Everything locked down because remember I couldn't get a gift if you still have investigation for going in there and everything, you know. So everything disappear, gone completely. There is no how you get back your money from here. You understand?
Long time. He's not going to get it back.
Yeah, hear this now. Hear all the one of the light. Hear this.
Be left unturned. That's Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark restating the government's commitment to the investigation in the multi-million-dollar fraud case at Stocks and Securities Limited. The minister notes before he made the announcement of the FBI's inclusion, investigative bodies were already collaborating with the Bureau. Since then, Dr. Clark says the FBI's involvement has been solidified into the investigations and will only get more aggressive.
In the briefing that I have received, based on developments, the FBI is going to be intensifying their involvement even beyond what would have been.
But hold on. If you notice when them said the FBI would be intensified, he's double thinking and saying, my God, I am forced to tell a lie like this. Play it back over.
Their involvement
Seems
even
like he was
beyond
struggling with his conscience.
In the briefing that I have received,
based
on developments,
the
FBI is going to be intensifying their involvement.
You know, force them to come to this.
Look at that.
Better. It's like him want to cry.
He was struggling with his conscience.
Yeah, I'm conscious.
That's why I'm have to run from Jamaica too. Because I'm shame myself.
Yeah, this.
Based on developments, the FBI is going to be intensifying their involvement even beyond what
he was struggling with his conscience.
Right there. You remember when youth are going, them like them and like you want to ball, you know, do the thing and somebody are forced to do it.
Yes.
Them
right here is a problem. Right here is a problem.
Based on developments,
look at them face to body language.
Is going to be intensifying their
look at it, body language. Better, them push him for come do this, you know.
Yeah, man. Them ridicule him for come do this.
Definitely under
he never want to do this.
No, him under the rest, people. Just to put him here and laugh, you know.
Listen, we train to observe certain body language, you know.
Just look at the body language, brother.
Exactly.
It's like it's bad.
And even him speech.
Exactly. He was struggling.
Involvement has been solidified into the investigations and will only get more aggressive.
In the briefing that I have received, based on developments, the FBI is going to be intensifying their involvement even beyond what would have been thought when I first made that statement.
The minister notes the ministry has already written to an international partner for assistance with forensic auditing, and the government of Jamaica is prepared to foot the bill for their involvement.
If somebody wants to give us, we will take it, of course, right? But this is so important. We are going to allocate the space.
Do it again.
Look here. Hold on. Stop. Hold on. Nigel was very uncomfortable. With his conscience, and it's like he's saying, "You are forcing me to do this."
Yeah, him under pressure.
Yeah, he never want to do it.
Him no better than this, you know.
Look at this.
Andrew them catch him and mash him up, you know. Join him and mash him up. No, a serious thing, Andrew wanna mash him up.
Serious thing, really.
People then go treat the light Nigel in a light gel. No, at them transforming in a light gel, you know. Can be named Nigel before, you know.
Yeah.
But a light gel Clark him name after him done, you know.
Prepared to foot the bill for their involvement.
If somebody wants to give us, we will take it, of course. All right? But this is so important. We are going to allocate the space.
Anytime we are going to allocate, nothing here this. Anytime I tell a lie, you hear it.
Yes.
We will take it, of course. Right? But this is so important. We are going to allocate the space in our budget to make sure we can procure the best international forensic experts that we can find.
And since then, Dr. Clark says the ministry has identified a firm and the procedures involved in contracting said firm are already underway.
The cyber resources and cyber forensic resources of the government of Jamaica have also been activated. And all avenues that cyber can reach, and I don't have to specify them.
See the alias, all right. Look
and all avenues that cyber can reach, and I don't have to specify them.
I don't have to specify them.
All of them will be opened up. With
you see, Rams will be in a thing before him talk.
In pause will be opened up.
Language, you know, and look what him open up. Look about
all of them will be opened up with no stone.
Him slower than even the word, with no stone left unturned.
Left unturned.
Nasika Aliman.
Him not live up even one stone.
Him don't move nothing. Not even cobweb. Not even cobweb move.
That speech was painful for him to stand up there and speak because he knew deep within his conscience that what he was saying was not true. Although he's a pathological liar and should be come back in handcuff, he knew he was misleading. Now, I'm talking about misinformation. That is the art of misinformation. To lie on the FBI. That's why I'm going to take a pause because there was no FBI coming. The FBI was never invited to Jamaica.
No, and them intensify them thing that Abwem said. This was a lie. They can't believe in that.
But this is why FBI need now to come in because what they did was incriminate FBI name as part
lie.
Well, the truth is, Nigel Clark in Washington, D.C., couple stone throw from the Edgar J. Hoover FBI building. So if them want him, them just walk over the IMF building and grab him. And then them are going to flip him.
Hold on. Pastor K.
Yeah.
When you are working with the IMF, you have diplomatic immunity.
Right.
So the FBI can't touch him.
But if the IMF fire him because of this scandal, they are aware of this.
Byron, Uncle America, the other day, them have diplomat and
you have diplomatic immunity.
If you're involved in a criminal activity, them can't withdraw that from him.
Hey, American is still Byron.
We try to him and give him up. So you stay there.
But then going there for some people, man, them say them do something. They're going to arrest them.
I've seen diplomats get arrested before in America for drunken drive and lick down somebody, and them never have no choice but revoke them diplomatic status and press charge against them. It happened before. Them can revoke it.
America, you know them. You don't know, say, yesterday, some come out, come call. When him from Ukraine, I call him a criminal, you know, I said him a dictator.
Call him dictator, Zelensky.
And I attack from Russia. This is how Trump like and wicked, you know. So, when
Russia start the war. When Russia start the war.
That's another thing. Would they ever remember say Trump a president? If Trump decided him gonna get involved and get back the voting money, cause Trump like both. Him can revoke all of them status that Nigel Clark have.
Yeah, and Trump that, you know, fit do whatever do can, you know. But me not this because this is not the end of this, you know. This is not the end of this. But yeah, what me like, we do all of this where them are going with. This is what me like. Me I play two other things where me like. Both tell you about the woman. Hear this.
Is being held responsible. Do you think that is the right person being held responsible? So you tell
Or
me
the
say,
only
all
person?
this money missing and one person know about it? one somebody can move around and nobody else don't know about it. In a big institution where it's supposed to be really regulated, right?
Have you seen
a whole
any?
heap of things move? And not like me alone. So you tell me say you run off an institution and you don't notice nothing a go on. So no get audit or nothing happen or you the man say so.
So you think
and clear this a go on for years.
person,
And I like a 1 year thing.
Have you
Alright, so him just said the same thing what we are saying, so. I remember somebody has planned this store and then I move to Andrew on this tougher now. Hear this.
It pains my heart when I see what this government is doing to the great sprinting legend of Jamaica, Usain Bolt. It is a disgrace. The man invested his money for his retirement in an institution regulated by the Jamaican regulatory body for investments in the country. And there was a massive fraud going on in there. Nigel Clark was Minister of Finance. When the report come to his office about the problems, he put the report in a cupboard and forget about it. Andrew Holness had money in there. And Andrew Holness take out his money before the thing collapse and leave Bolt and others to suffer the massive losses of, in his case, millions and millions of hard-earned US dollars that he raised through his exploits on the track to bring glory to Jamaica. What can go so? What can go so? Well, I'm here to tell you that when we form government, no stone will be left unturned to chase.
Well, Will, come again. Will, come again. Yes,
there. And Andrew Holness take out his money before the thing collapse and leave Bolt and others to suffer the massive losses of, in his case, millions and millions of hard-earned US dollars that he raised through his exploits on the track to bring glory to Jamaica. What can go so? What can go so? Well, I'm here to tell you that when we form government, no stone will be left unturned to chase down that money for Mr. Bolt and the others. What can go so? What can go so? Well, I'm here to tell you that when we form government, no stone will be left unturned to chase down that money for Mr. Bolt and the others. No stone will be left unturned. This lackadaisical approach, dragging the thing out, we can't get any information. We want the reports. We want the Crow reports to see what has happened. And there must be a commission of inquiry into the regulatory failures that would allow an institution like that, licensed to deal in securities and manage people's money, to have been operating for years, carrying out such massive fraud, and the regulator let them go ahead and let them go ahead until it was too late. We are going to get to the bottom of it because we respect the people involved who have put their money in Jamaica, and to the diaspora and others overseas. We need to send the signal that we take it seriously. And that Jamaica, and to the diaspora and others overseas, we need to send the signal that we take it seriously. In Jamaica, and to the diaspora and others overseas, we need to send the signal that we take it seriously. And that Jamaica is a place where you can come and invest your money. And this government is letting the people down. You know.
Well, I mean, I tell you, man.
We have been invited now to do our part, and that's what we're doing.
Solid. Exactly. So, man, holding that solid, man. We are say, man. Yes, man. Solid. We say solid, we talk about solid.
Yeah, man, that's a solid punchline, that man.
Let me just say this real quick. What Cameron leader Mark Golden did, he indict the whole case in less than 2 minutes. Him link Nigel Clark, if you listen what him say, to cover up the report and hide it. Him link the Prime Minister for take out the money out of SSL as a person who have an account in a SSL, and then him link the financial regulators for failing to regulate this Ponzi scheme and allow it to operate for years, and then him invite both and everyone who lost money that him not gonna leave no stone unturned. Him will get to the bottom of it. That's a promise and an assurance. Exactly. Then finally, him invite the diaspora to be a part of the process. So when the matter send threat or try intimidate with, we ain't afraid of none of them. We have liar too.
No, nasty boss can't send no threat, you know. Ricky, Pastor Ricky. Don't listen bad and then look at nastiness. Because Vaz on that try to deflect with. You understand? Yeah. Vaz them a piece of garbage then there.
No, that. What else I say? We have our constitutional rights. And we have been entitled.
You don't have to tell me now. We don't have to tell a piece of garbage that, you know. That's a criminal from my boy, you know. That's a criminal from my boy. That's not supposed to even represent nobody at Jamaica. Sure. We ever take man when name call up in a gruesome murder. I've been bought to my minister. Eh? A criminal that piece of shit they over Portland. You know, so when take Portland and turn it in a Cokeland. Yeah. Them they can't talk to me, you know. Them they are nastiness. So when they run out and talk about social media and liar, man, go should be at some of my corner of shit, man. Go from here, some man. Man, you want to get mad around here, so you know. So don't come on to come feel like you can't intimidate nobody on social media.
You might say we pick up him chatting, so we not pick it up. So that me I tell we don't have the time for waste on that man. We could go and beat and teach. Saying we not see him. And we not see him, you know. So yes. But hear this now. We're gonna play this with Andrew Holness when I walk and tell people now say him a fix economy. We have to play this. Play this.
Fixing the economy, placing the economy on a sustainable path. Within the next 2 to 3 years, every Jamaican is going to feel the benefit of that in some way. You're feeling it now. Fixing the economy, placing the economy on a sustainable path. Within the next 2 to 3 years, every Jamaican is going to feel the benefit of that.
All right. Well, remember when that said it. But I'm going to play now 2015. I'm going to play 2015 when Mama P and them did a real fix the economy where Andrew won this mashup. Guy was the Prime Minister where she take it from, yeah? Do scheme it and him finish it off. Yeah? Them the fall upon the IMF. Hear him talk, yeah, so we don't want you about to fix the economy. Remember, you know, him have to pass the people them tests. And him is a fear, I remember 2 times him do. This is Mama people in the 3rd year. Hear what I'm saying, so.
Now the PNP, with 1 full year on the clock, is saying, let us go to an election. And I have not heard one policy, one program, one good reason why anyone should vote for the PNP. Not one. I hear a man say that the business people think it would be madness to vote against the PNP. What do you think? That man, lick him head. That man must be a madman. Let me tell you something. We have no problem with the IMF. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Our country must run good. We must put our finances in order.
Listen good enough. He must say, I fix the economy. I wonder if not this Mama P did I do. When him Russia like this. So we don't want to hear from him. Look, we put the country in order because that Misha put it in order. Where him mash up. Him and the one before him.
We must put our finances in order. We must balance our books. We were the ones who started a program called fiscal discipline.
That's a crap. Because they never have no discipline.
Meaning that what we spend must balance back to what we earn in revenue and taxes. And we must maintain that and regulate our borrowing. So I want the entire Jamaica to know, including those who feel that if a Jamaica Labour Party government were to take over, we would throw caution to the wind. Nonsense. But I find that the discussion and debate in Jamaica, aside from being very partisan, is very narrow. Because the people who should know better don't say better. You know, a wise man, Sir Winston Churchill, he said, and I always repeat it, because every time I recall it, I just see Peter Phillips. He says, any government that believes that they can grow their country through taxation is like a man standing up in a bucket trying to pull himself up by the...
Them the two taxation, remember, you know, the budget was 600 billion at the time? Yes. Film budget was 1.2 now billion, right? Trillion, right? It's double, right?
1.3. Call it 1.3.
It don't look a bit. So, yes, near right, that's all right. Yeah, 1.2, they must take it down look a bit. But a 1.2, yeah, all right. Continue.
And every time I hear that, and I recall that, I just see Peter Phillips standing up in the bucket, pulling himself up by the handles and saying, hip hip hooray, we have passed the IMF test. Hip hip hooray, we have passed the IMF test. But he's still standing in a bucket at the same place, at the same level, not growing even 1 inch.
You say not growing, you know, 1 inch. I'm a matter of fact, him say grow. Let say the grow 1 inch. Because I have to continue, but hold on. So him say not growing 1 inch. Well, on the honest, let me say if you grow 1 inch right or so, because, you know, when you talk, I just want to look on something here. But if I continue with him, you know, but I just want to look on something. Let me just look if you grow. Right, that's all. Oh, so 8 point, this is the fourth quarter. What is decrease the economy? All right, make we continue listening now because him said them now grow 1 inch. So him said,
yeah.
Team economy this right, Byron?
Yeah.
Yes, man.
Team one. And make we continue with him, yes, so. Where him there? Make we find him back where we have him, yes, so. Yes, all right. Continue with the oneness.
To those people who are praising the government for passing the IMF test.
Who are praising the government for fixing the economy. Come to pass the IMF, can you fix the economy and put it on a stable path, right? Here what I'm saying in a Porsche time, you know, who are praising the government for pass the test. Remember, him fail the test. And him fail the whole people before Porsche come in. Continue.
Are not recognizing that what they are saying to the people of the country is that the government is only accountable to the IMF.
So make we ask him the same thing now. What him say about fix the economy? You understand? Yes. And not even fiscal discipline. Continue.
And if that be the case, then what the government should go do is ask the IMF to vote for them.
So what that's about this, Byron? Who have to vote for him? The people in my IMF.
Well, let me say something.
So, let me continue.
Okay.
Our government must be accountable to us. Okay. And so while you're passing the IMF test, you have to pass the people's test. And what the people want you to pass is the growth test.
The growth test? Let me look on the growth again. But when I talk, I have to look on the growth again, Byron. Because him say for pass. So how much him grow yes, Byron? Because I not see no growth, you know. But I finish him. But I just look if him have any growth. Because I finish him, you know. I finish him. Just a minute.
They want to see the income grow. They want to see the food basket grow.
Hold on. So the food basket will grow, people? Continue.
They want to see their children's education improve. They want to see their health service improve.
Hold on. So the health service improve and the children's education, how much percent of pass them get the other day? 18%? Yes. 18. Okay.
Listen, man. So this government is only running on one track. When the Jamaica Labour Party was the government, we ran on both tracks.
Okay, so him now, people, you remember this is what him does say, Byron, I'm going to play this and then I talk to you.
Yeah.
So him said this, when Mama Pia fix the economy. Now, him I tell you this now, for wait for 3 more years after 2 terms, she depend a third year. And him I tell her this, when she have to set it back for 2 fiscal discipline. No, him I say the same thing now, him I fix the economy. When mash up, hear this.
Somewhere. You're feeling it.
Hear this.
Fixing the economy, placing the economy on a sustainable path.
People that are with the IMF, like when that are about, they say, hey man, come out and move. See him catch himself, the brother. Mystic. What you say about that? Him can't be hypocritical. We have to hold him, you know.
Right. So what the people need to understand as it relates to what Andrew just communicated is to understand the history, right? So them can properly respond to what Andrew has just stated. Now, all right. What the people need to remember that Portia Simpson, right, took over, right, as it relates to the Bruce Golding era. But let us look at the Bruce Golding era prior to where Portia Simpson took over, because Portia Simpson took over 2012, Andrew Holness 2011, Bruce Golding 2007 to 2011, right? And Andrew Holness took over in 2011. All right, let us check the period between 2007 to 2010, right? Under the Bruce Golding administration. What happened under the Bruce Golding administration is that Bruce Golding administration, right, wrecked the economy, and we have the evidence to show. So remember that PJ Patterson, right, paid up all the IMF debt, right, and the bottom handed over to Bruce Golding. Now Bruce Golding came in and divested most of Jamaica assets. If you go back to through the history, you will realize that majority of Jamaica assets, they were divested under the Bruce Golding administration, right? The national airline, right? Sugar industries and all the political things, cement factory, and all of these things were divested under the Bruce Golding administration. So the Bruce Golding administration, right, fall out, right, with the IMF, because what they did, they borrowed some money from the IMF, and the IMF placed some austerity measures, right, where Bruce Golding administration failed those austerity measures. As a result of that, the bangarang that happened to Bruce Golding as it relates to the Ssl Saga and all the political thing put Bruce Golding administration in a predicament with the United States, right? Serious happening. This was the reason also why the corruption index flagged Bruce Golding administration to low as 30, right, on the corruption index. So I'm bringing back history to this now. As a result of that, Bruce Golding put the economy in an abyss, right, where the IMF, right, decided, okay, all right, they are not going to give Jamaica any loans. So Jamaica was partially, if you want to use the word, blacklisted from the IMF. Yes, you can go, you can do that, because
that's what it was.
That was really what actually happened as it relates to IMF separate themselves, right, from dealing with Jamaica as a result of the failure of Bruce Golding. So now remember now that Andrew Holness also was a part of that, because Andrew Holness took over because Bruce was forced out as it relates to United States pressure, right, as it relates to DUDUS, and where Bruce was forced to resign, and where Andrew Holness took over. Now, Andrew Holness lost the election right, with Portia Simpson. And so then Portia Simpson now get into power, new and vibrant, right, with Peter Phillips. Portia Simpson administration has more than a mountain to climb. That financial mountain and economic distress that Jamaica was facing, right, to me, it was higher than Blue Mountain, measuring more than 7,402 feet above sea level. So that was the obstacles that Portia Simpson has to cross, because remember that IMF, right, turned their back on Jamaica, right? Jamaica has no money to pay their bills, couldn't pay civil work, and so forth and so forth, no money. So what Portia Simpson had done is really go on her knees. So I want to shake the backbone for people. Portia Simpson, right, and Peter Phillips, they had to went on their knees crawling, begging Maxine Walters, the Congresswoman for the United States. We have the history now. Beg Maxine Walters to really sit and have a talk with IMF so that IMF can bring back Jamaica to the table. As a result of what Maxine Walters had done, right, had brought back Portia Simpson, right, with an opportunity, right, to speak with the IMF. And so then what IMF had done, right, was to set some serious austerity measures for Portia Simpson. As a matter of fact, the austerity measures that were placed, right, the truth be told, the IMF did not expect that Jamaica would have survived, right, because there was a lot of chatting, right, into the international arena that Jamaica was going to fail. Jamaica is going to collapse. Jamaica is going to hit the core. But with the principle as it relates to Portia Simpson and as it relates to Dr. Peter Phillips, I would say work more than miracle in terms of going through the austerity measures, right, where, you know, a lot of wage freeze has to happen. So people need to understand why that was done. What Portia Simpson had to do, right, even with the NHC fund at the time, was to use it, right, as a way, right, to get the loans from IMF, on which the Andrew Holness-led administration, after them frig up the economy, criticized Portia Simpson for that. But hold on, we are getting to the surface. So Portia Simpson sit with the austerity measures, fight hard, set fiscal discipline, set policies, tremendous policies, right, that benefited Nigel Clark. None of them give Portia Simpson that benefit. This Nigel Clark spoke as if he is the one who set all of those policies that grow Jamaica to strength, right? And so then Portia Simpson had passed 8, let me tell the people, 8 consecutive IMF tests brought back Jamaica from the abyss. It was so amazing that the IMF, International Monetary Fund, was to speak about the victory that Portia Simpson and Dr. Peter Phillips had done to bring back Jamaica economy. Now, here is Andrew Holness, all right? And this is why when we talk about the electorate that need to understand the politics, right? Because a lot of people, oh, I don't want to hear anything about politics. Well, guess what? You cannot avoid politics. You cannot. Because it is politics is going to shape your life. Number one, a poor government like Andrew Holness and a corrupted government like Andrew Holness is going to shape your life. So out of this corrupted government, you will understand that the future generation will stretch to poverty, more poverty, more poverty, more poverty, inflation, more inflation, right? And of course, you're going to have many more budget shortfall as it relates to all the promises that they are throwing out, right? That, of course, they cannot meet. Now, remember, people, let us talk the truth. So Portia Simpson passed 8 consecutive IMF tests, right? Bring back Jamaica, turn around the Jamaican economy at 180 degrees, right? Jamaica solid again, fit again. But the electorate, right, did not understand, right? The People's National Party, they sort of poor on public relation because they did not sell themselves properly, right? In telling people, right, all of this information that I'm speaking. You understand? And bring this information to the fore, educate the electorate so the electorate can understand as it relates to why they had experienced the wage freeze, right, and why people have to tie their belly a little bit harder as a result of what Bruce Golden had done, fall out with the IMF, right, and IMF turn them back, and so then the IMF...
Andrew, let them look at him last at the last Prime Minister.
The IMF have to place Portia Simpson, right, under, you know, stringent austerity measures where Portia Simpson had successfully, right, passed 8 consecutive tests. So when Andrew Holness said, yes, the People's National Party can pass the IMF test, but they need to pass the People's test. Okay, let us ask, what is the People's test? Because the People's test, it simply means growing the economy. Now, let us speak about that. Because Andrew Holness,
Militant
right,
Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller that
let us listen to this.
Yeah, but look with us. Use it where you are, my brother.
Defended the accomplishments of our government as she made her contribution to the 2015-2016 budget debate in Gordon House on Tuesday. The Prime Minister came armed with information, rubbishing the opposition claims that the government has done nothing to stabilize the economy or improve the standard of living for Jamaicans since assuming office in 2012. Mrs. Simpson Miller argues that her government made the tough decisions to transform the economy with the assistance of the IMF and restored international credibility.
It has been a tough journey. There were many times along the way when many persons became discouraged and wondered if we would ever see the top of the mountain. Today we can say that our economy has stabilized. The respect for our country by the international community has been restored.
People, why you listen good enough? This is the 15-16 budget. Now when Andrew chat, she said restored has been restored. That's just not good.
And our confidence is rising as we reap success. The big 3 agencies that rate the economies of the world, Standard & Poor's, Fitch and Moody's, have kept a close watch. They all agree that we have been meeting or surpassing our macroeconomic targets.
You hear about the macroeconomic, where my boss about? You hear who reached and pass it? Macroeconomic, all right.
Also criticized the opposition for what she termed their doom and gloom campaign. Mrs. Simpson Miller insists there has been a marked difference since the
gloom and gloom we just talk about Byron.
PNP took over office from the Jlp government in 2011.
A word to the wise. The Jamaican people are not fooled by the bluster of sound and fury signifying nothing.
She says the JLP's arguments that the economy isn't growing are unfounded.
The opposition continues to weave a tale that nothing is happening in the economy and that we are worse off. The highly influential Forbes magazine has named Jamaica as the best Caribbean country in which to do business.
The Prime Minister would, however, concede that the pace of growth is slow. However, she expressed full confidence in the government's economic reform program. Meanwhile, Mrs. Simpson Miller poured cold water on the opposition leader's dramatics. During his budget presentation last week, Mr. Holness carried food baskets to Parliament, which he used to demonstrate the rapidly dwindling spending power of the Jamaican populace.
My friend, the opposition leader resorted to theatrics by bringing 3 baskets to this debate. When I introduced the food basket to Parliament many years ago, it was not meant to poke fun at the plight of the Jamaican people. I feel the pain our people are facing, and I know the difficulties. It is real. People's pain should never be exploited for cheap theatrics and political grandstanding.
And she also had this to say.
My greatest concern, though, is that the items in his food baskets were imported. I would have preferred if I had seen yam, dasheen, plantain, banana, breadfruit, peanut, red peas. If we did not pass the 7 IMF test, there would be nothing in the basket except perhaps eucalyptus oil.
Tanika Thomas reporting for Scene Caribbean News.
Hey, I go and touch another one. Explain you see it. You hear?
No,
yeah, I want to, but go and talk.
Let me bury Andrew Holness now, right?
Yes.
With the level of corruption. So there you go in terms of everything what I said, right? Portia Simpson communicated it as it relates to her success, as it relates to her administration, passing the IMF test, bring back Jamaica, brought back Jamaica, right? 180 degrees turn around for the economy, right? Now, the criticism that Portia Simpson had faced, Portia Simpson administration had faced, and I want to tell Jamaica this, I want Jamaica to listen to me. When Portia Simpson used money from the NHT funds, right? Use money from the NHT funds to shore up the budget, right? Portia Simpson was criticized. And a matter of fact, you have some GLP,
operative.
Some GLP operative, you understand, who wanted was to take the People's National Party to court, right, to use the NHT funds to shore up the budget. Look, right? We criticize that. Now let us go to Andrew Holness. Using the NHT fund to do what? Number one, let us start the first criminality that the GLP administration, Andrew Holness, had done. Andrew Holness, Dexim, right? The person who owned Dexim company, right? You know that this person linked with criminality. Not only that, you know that, the Parliament warned you about Dexim. The Parliament warned you not to engage in business with Dexim. But yet, you took millions of dollars, right, of NHT money and gave to your criminal friend, right? And what did he do with it? What did he do with it? Trick and deceive the Jamaican people, the Jamaican taxpayers.
650 million. Make them know about
right? And as it is today that I learned that Dexim has not handed over that money to NHT, right? I don't know how truthful that is. So let me say that. But the information that I'm getting is that NHT has not gotten back that money. But go further than that as it relates to what Andrew Holness had done. So when we said Andrew Holness, 100% pure evil, thief, criminal, right? Premeditated. Let us identify why I say this. SSL. Andrew Holness knew very well that SSL was a Ponzi scheme. Knowledge, awareness, he knew, right? Because Andrew Holness joined SSL 2008. In 2006 and 2007, Hugh Cross-Kerry and Paul Cheng Young was in court battling as it relates to this case that extend to that period of time as it relates to the financial meltdown. And where Paul Cheng Young, right, had hidden 19 properties, right, gave Cross-Kerry 19 properties to hide in Florida. Andrew Holness knew all of that. Andrew Holness and the campaign trail tricking the Jamaican people, right? Blaming People's National Party for Finsac. What is Finsac? The financial sector adjustment that ensure, in terms of the government buying up the bad debts and try to pay back investors. That is Finsac, you know. So for people who are arguing about Finsac, you understand, mixing up Finsac, you understand, to say that Finsac caused the financial meltdown. They are so stupid, they are so dunce. It is the financial meltdown that brings forth Finsac as it relates to the government has to find ways and means, you understand, to clean up the mess that caused by the Jamaica Labour Party administration and the criminal thugs, the thugs of JLP administration, the criminals, right? So then, people need to understand what is Finsac and what is the financial meltdown. Finsac came about as a result of the financial meltdown. Put it and try to understand what is Finsac. So Finsac is the financial sector adjustment, right? That utilize, you understand, to save investors and give back investors money. So people need to go and read, right?
And understand.
Do your research. Now, where am I getting to? So if Andrew Holness, having awareness of the whole criminality and his campaign trail, right, believe that the Jamaican people are gullible and talking about, Finsac was the worst thing that happened to Jamaica, and this is how wicked and cruel this person is. Finsac is the wickedest thing that ever happened, is the greatest transfer of wealth from the poor to the rich. Now, people, pay attention to this. If Andrew Holness is saying that Finsac is the greatest transfer of wealth from the poor to the rich, okay. Then Andrew Holness, let me ask you a question. Why you are in bed? Why are you in bed with Hugh Cross-Kerry and in SSL, and you know that, right? They are the ones who created, helped to create the financial meltdown. Why are you in bed with them, right? To do what?
Byron.
Yes.
With all respect, I'm going to repeat. I'm going to take up this first and make me answer it. Voila. This is very important with my people. But I'm going to answer it for him. I'm not there with all respect. All right, so we're going to stop this. This is very important for the show. But I'm going to answer it for him. Andrew, I just attack because Patrick Bailey them not there. Because, you know, we're not transfer the wealth from the poor to the rich, including yourself. Yes. And that one I do again, like it back in the days. With Sarah come back, and that one I do, you know, una do it back, una good. Una drain Jamaica. Yes, so you turn billion, you're bodyguard to man. You know, see. So we answered for him, Byron.
Yeah, man.
I'm a bodyguard, you know.
All right.
Yes.
So watch this now. So here is Andrew Holness, knowing very well, right, that SSL is a Ponzi scheme. As we look and see where the investigators, the Integrity Commission investigators, you understand, found Andrew Holness red-handed with his hands in the cookie jar, where SSL transferring $143,000 into an account, NCB, where Andrew Holness take out that account in NCB 10 days prior to the money went into his account. And how did Andrew Holness take out that account? $0. $0. So then, NCB is washing money laundering. NCB, money laundering. Right? So the bank need to understand that that is money laundering, that is criminality that the bank is doing. Not only that. So then, this is what Andrew Holness had done now. Right? I mean, the wickedest evil, the wickedest transfer from the poor to the rich. Andrew Holness take out all the poor money in NHT taxpayers, put it in SSL, egg tax, put it in SSL, right? Roughly about 5 different taxes, and put them in
NIS.
NIS, and all of that into SSL. And all of that money goes to the oligarchs, which is you, Craskerry, him, Andrew Holness, right? Some of the money reach a Portland, right? Some of the money reach a Portland, right? Some of the money, you understand, go around. Some of the money reach, the Prime Minister building him house and all of that and blah, blah, blah. We know how the money break down and go. Andrew Holness can't come out. Cannot come out, right, and say that this is lie. Because the lawyer Patrick Bailey spoke clearly in 2011 when you purchased the land in 2011, right? Remember, the chunk of it, the large chunk of it came from SSL. I know we said that, Well, I know Mystica said that, I know Melting Potter said that, I know Lonesome said that, I know Pastor Ricky said that, and your lawyer they said that, Patrick Bailey has said that, Say yes, you use money out of SSL, and by the way, to show you how your level of criminality stay, when you were trying to explain it, you were saying that you get mortgage, right? Suppliers credit, right? And all of that. Remember that Zara Burton investigated properly and you have no mortgages at the bank. So let me tell you something. If the Integrity Commission give you 10 more years, it is going to be the next 10 more years that your statutory declaration cannot be certified.
But unfortunately, unfortunately.
Well, if you have it, that's not Byron. No, get that.
You're going to lose.
10 more years. Your statutory declaration will not be able to certify, boss.
Byron, me know you talk for taxi, but at that time when him say 10 go, it's all like we're going to win election. No, listen. Him on got talking a little, yes.
Him not forget about that. I'm just talking about that.
You're being sarcastic.
You're not supposed to live on the ballot. Let me just tell you straight. Yes? And Byron, before you do that, I have to play that piece of Mama P because she said the thing, because same thing we say because the People National Party never have a PR out there, gerrymandering them doing, and them tell PLI, and them, come up with one bag of things, but want to play this and just listen to Mama P say she work, she don't have the time for the chatting. And this and to use and trick people, just listen to people, not my saying, listen here.
Welcome back. It's now time to go in depth. Jamaicans head to the polls on February 25, 2016. The ruling People's National Party, PNP, is confident of a victory. We got a chance to speak with Prime Minister and PNP leader Portia Simpson Miller on how well she believes her party will do on Election Day. All eyes will be on the highly anticipated general elections in Jamaica, set for Thursday, February 25, 2016. Pundits say the atmosphere is set for an interesting political battle between the ruling People's National Party (PNP) and an opposition which has been pulling out all the stops to escape the political wilderness and unseat the PNP. Perhaps what makes the February 25 elections intriguing is the large number of political neophytes entering the race for Gordon House. Both parties have expressed confidence heading into the polls. However, the 2016 results will be a vote of confidence for that charismatic leader whose message resonates with the masses and is compelling enough to get that index finger in the ink. We got a chance to speak with PNP leader and Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller recently about her predictions for the upcoming polls.
I'm not going to predict the number of seats. All I can tell you, the People's National Party will be returned to power the night of the election when the ballots are counted.
Mrs. Simpson Miller has been the face of the PNP campaign since 2007. However, she lost to then Prime Minister Bruce Golding in the 2007 general elections. 4 years later, she unseated the Jamaica Labour Party led by Andrew Holness.
That's what I say, can't leave him out of nothing. Led by him because I mash it up after abuse scheme it. Him finish it.
Minister Bruce Golding in the 2007 general elections. 4 years later, she unseated the Jamaica Labour Party led by Andrew Holness. Going into this election, Mrs. Simpson Miller says the PNP is just as confident.
Hey, there's something, you know. It's how the gleaner, look how them used to draw and think. That's why I never put them. Look how them draw Byron. Nobody else, you know. So them pick upon them like the PNP. This is what they used to do. That's why I never put them in.
Minister Bruce Golding in the 2007 general elections. 4 years later, she unseated the Jamaica Labour Party led by Andrew Holness. Going into this election, Mrs. Simpson Miller says the PNP is just as confident about its chances. She believes Jamaicans will keep the team that has demonstrated results. The PNP leader argues that she's unfazed about the promises being banded by her opponent Andrew Holness. Mr. Holness has committed to removing personal income tax if the JLP is given a chance at leading the country.
The night of the elections, the People's National Party will be returned to power. Just look at what is happening in the country, despite the difficulties. And there are some people now giving the impression from the other side as if we took the country in a good position, as if the economy was booming, as if everything was okay. And I see people making certain promises. The promise I make to Jamaican people, I'll continue to do what I am doing and to do the best I can for this country, to pull it out of the rut that we found it, and we have started to pull it out. Why is it that international organizations have been giving so many commendations to the government of the People's National Party based on our management and our leadership? It must be a reason. They would not have given us thumbs up in those areas that they have been giving us thumbs up if we were not doing well. So it's a demonstration of sane, sober management and leadership.
Noted pollster Don Anderson has given the PNP a 4 percentage points lead over the JLP. His latest poll shows the PNP ahead on 27.5% and the JLP lagging behind on 23.2 percentage points. But what's disconcerting is the large chunk of respondents who have shunned the voting process. The poll indicates that at least 40% of Jamaicans have lost hope and have given up on politics.
There's never an election and a period in Jamaica where people do not say they are not voting because of one reason or the other. This would not be the first time that some people express, boy, sure, I can't bother. Sure, I'm not going to vote. In every election it happens, and this would not be the first one. All I can tell you, look out. The night of the elections, when the ballots are counted, the People's National Party will be returned to power. the people do not want to stop the progress now. We are progressing despite. Look where we took the country from. Look what we had inherited. We had inherited a country that no one globally was looking on with respect. And now we have gained the respect of the world. President Obama visited with Portia as Prime Minister. Japan visited with Portia as Prime Minister. Britain visited with Portia as Prime Minister. Most top leaders we've had.
Mrs. Simpson Miller is also the party's standard bearer for the St. Andrews Southwestern Division, a bedrock for the PNP. Mrs. Simpson Miller has held the seat since 1976, but she has been criticized for the poor state of the community. Many civil society groups believe her constituency is far from a model community, which has several inner cities with poor sanitation, deplorable roads, and high levels of unemployment. Mrs. Simpson Miller says despite the criticisms, she remains proud of her constituency.
I've done a lot of work in the constituency, including moving a number of zinc fence and establish proper walls for our people. I have done a lot in terms of education is my priority. And so I assist a number of our students whose parents could not afford to send them to universities. So I pay their fees, and every year I get my constituency allocation. I take that chunk out of it towards education. Because show me a prosperous nation, Norman Mandela said, and I show you an educated people, or Marcus Garvey. They believed in education. Garvey believed in education in his time. Manley believed in education, and I think all prime ministers after would have done their bit in terms of pushing the education of our people.
In her defense, the PM argues that she has worked hard to improve the infrastructure of the community. However, several of her constituents have been mortgage delinquents.
You can't eat your cake and have it. It's either I'm going to be fixing the things or I'm not fixing it. When I fix the things and provide housing, you hear that some cannot afford to pay. They're not the only ones who are not able to afford to pay. There are a number of professionals now living in houses, and given the economic situation in the country, are not able to be keeping up with some of their bills. And so all of us are going through that process, including me, because if someone should pass from my constituency, pass on, you know who they call to assist with the burial? Portia. If somebody is sick and they need x-rays or they need medication, who do they call? Portia. Where do I get the money from? Portia. Portia's money. And when I do not have, then I will lean on my friends, and they will help, including my husband.
You ever get the money, Andrew?
You know who they call to assist with the burial?
You ever get the money?
Portia. If somebody is sick and they need x-rays or they need medication, who do they call? Portia. Where do I get the money from? Portia. Portia's money. And when I do not have, then I will lean on my friends, and they will help, including my husband. So.
Yeah, who help her when she do this thing, brother? And you want to pay the billion, then people don't have no money now, you know?
People can talk and they can say what they want to say. The fact is, I know in this constituency, if I should take you around, there are areas that look much better than some others that are criticizing. We're pushing seriously in terms of the education of our people, because
some look better than uptown, you know. To build up, don't get better.
People in the constituency, there are a number of them when their children are doing very well at school, and when they get admitted to university, they cannot pay the university fees. So who have to now jump in to assist? Portia and her councillors. And the councillors and myself, we work very closely in the constituency for the benefit and betterment of the people in the constituency. For a constituency with so many inner cities, tour with me and look at my constituency and look on some others that will criticize.
Mrs. Simpson Miller constituents give her high marks for her stewardship.
A PMP make my daughter couldn't go to university as a poor woman living at the ghetto. PMP say education. Michael Manley are the first man who say the traditional school, nobody in the Boston, everybody are the same thing and everybody have a right to go anybody have a legal to go any high school, any traditional high school. PMP is for the poor. PMP are for the poorer class of people. Me believe in that and me know that. PMP for the poor. The poor says a woman to go up on farm work, big up farm work straight.
And the farm work, them go up on like hotel work and them thing there, you know.
PM says that she continues to enjoy the love and support of Jamaicans because she understands and can identify with the needs of the people. And to those who are wondering if this election will be the last one for the 70-year-old politician,
I am fit, I am strong, I am ready, and I am stronger than some people who are younger than I am. And much fitter.
Mrs. Simpson Miller is also urging peace during the lead up to Decision Day.
Whether people support the People's National Party or the Jamaica Labour Party, we're one Jamaican nation. We do not need to fight each other because of politics. Because after the elections, everybody will have to live in their community. And what I want is to see communities living in peace and love. If I should leave here now and see somebody in the fullest green and with green armbands and in distress, I am going to stop to help that person. I'm not concerned that the person is not wearing orange, that the person is wearing green. That person is a person and is deserving of assistance if you see that person in distress. That's the kind of person I am, and everybody that is close to me will tell you that's who Portia really is.
The PNP leader says her goal is to remain the leader for the people and to represent all sectors of society.
You see, when you emerge from humble beginnings, it's always a trial. You're going to always get the criticism. You know, Sandra knows my mom. If my mom was alive and was the prime minister, she would be loved. But Portia, her daughter, cannot be loved. Why? Because you and I have the same color. Sometimes I don't like that. But I know, though, that what I have achieved in this country, people who are white, people who are brown, people who are Indians, Chinese, I get a lot of love from them. And that demonstrates to me the true words of our motto, out of many, one people. And I love Jamaicans and Jamaica. And even if somebody hate me, I still go and love them. I love everybody. And even if you don't love me, Portia loves you.
Oh, chill, mama. Oh, mama. Oh, oh. You notice? Andrew, them love them party up play card, you know. Like Portia, them attack PJ, you know, them attack Mark. Whether you're darker skin or them find a way. With like big dirty thinking Queenie. That's why I'm not pet none of them, you know, because them are germs in a bit. Let me just tell them straight. Them are nastiness. So them find a way for attack and them lie. You hear what she said? She continue work. And me have a next one where she tell it, I'm in a Byron.
Yes.
She tell you know, say, listen, oh, they mash up the place. She said, she have to creep. Oh, them have to beg for big baby. She said, me have it. That's why I'm even for the same thing what we are talking about. She has self-talking. That's why I draw them out, you know, because I remember we have the archive. So everything where you talk, I'm going to show people, so they can fight. We're going to show people, say, and that's how them say for true, and that's how them go through.
Exactly.
We hear Byron and tell you, and we tell you, and them things. The way have it, we can show it. We just say explain it to you and show it, but we have them. Go through Byron.
You know, and this is it. When we look on the history, the empirical evidence of the history, and goes back to what, you know, I keep on saying in terms of persons who have an awareness of the history under no circumstances that you could come to the conclusion that the PNP and the JLP are same thing. No way. No way. It is plain and simple and straightforward. PNP that deals with democratic socialism definitely is for the people and progress and prosperity and building a better nation. Jamaica Labour Party, right? They are a kleptocratic government, you understand? Neo-colonialist, capitalist, greedy crony capitalism. They are outright criminals and have no interest, right, in growing a better nation. And look, it is evident. People see the evidence. Now, as it relates to what is happening and unfolding with Andrew Holness and Integrity Commission and all of that, right? Have you ever seen this, you understand, plague the PNP?
No.
Can you remember or reflect in history of any of this? Right? Corruption after corruption after corruption. And I am not saying...
criminality, because when we say corruption,
major organized crime. What we are looking on...
After criminality, brother.
Yeah, what we are looking on with Andrew Holness administration is major organized crime. Transnational crime. Yeah. Right? Drugs and all of that. You understand? Come on, people. It is just for you to open your eyes and see it. Right? And I yield back to our next.
Yeah. Just one thing I want to, add to your presentation, Sir Byron.
Yes.
Yeah, because, we talk about people in administration who are corrupt and who have criminal intention. And Bruce Golding, administration, having a contractual agreement with IMF, Bruce Golding administration refrained from paying IMF. They were delinquent.
That is true. Yes.
And that was the result why Portia Simpson and Peter Philip had to crawl on their knee because IMF said, no, we can't do no more business with Jamaica. True. Because of Bruce Golding and the same nasty thinking dirty Andrew Holness. You understand? Portia and Peter Philip have to crawl on them knee. Yes. And have to also seek the help of Maxine Walters.
Yeah.
To bring them back around the table with the IMF representative to access a package that could help to start move Jamaica again. Because when Mama P get Jamaica, Jamaica mash up and crash, like Kendall crash, people. Jamaica was like Kendall crash, the economy wreck. Because Bruce Golding and his administration borrowed money from IMF. Remember PJ Patterson, PR,
14 years.
All right.
Correct, yes.
And these nastiness, come in, and straight away them go back there and start the borrowing again. And what did they do with the money? Nothing. We haven't seen any infrastructure. Yeah? They took the money for themselves. Because this is how they operate. And they cripple Jamaica. So when Mama P come in and take over back the reign, from Nancy and Holness, Mama P find Jamaica flat on its face. She had to go back to IMF. IMF said, no, we're not having it. And she and Dr. Peter Phillips, had to be strong. And even when they were exhibiting all the energy and the effort, IMF still said, no. They had to seek the intervention of Maxine Walters. And even when IMF granted Jamaica a package deal, they expected Jamaica to fail and fail miserable. But under the guidance of Portia Simpson, Jamaica passed 8 consecutive quarter tests with IMF. And so in Pulse magazine and all those, big tabloids had to, give their acknowledgement to the good governance of the People's National Party under Portia Simpson at the time. These places were telling people that Jamaica was the best country in the Caribbean to do business. So we are seeing where the Jamaica Labour Party has always robbed and destroyed the country wealth. and leave it in a shadow for the PMP to pick up and use their brain and their eloquence and go back and build the country again. And when they come back in, this is what they're doing. They mash it up. We see where Andrew Holness wreck what he has gotten from Portia Simpson. Wreck it to the extent where Jamaica is in a recession.
We're in Gordon House today as MPs and senators across the political divide.
All right, so we're not sure when shall leave to, finish talk, but I'll show you this, and you finish pick up your talk. Because you're the promise for Andrew make people. Me never play this, Byron, me not think you see this. But me not think you not see this. You hear the promise for him make to Mama P. And tell me if him fulfill it. You watch this.
The end of an era in Gordon House today as MPs and senators across the political divide pay tribute to a giant of Jamaican politics who is about to exit the political stage, Portia Simpson Miller.
Mrs. Simpson Miller rose through the ranks of the People's National Party to become its president and make history as the first and so far only woman to become Prime Minister. She said to resign from her role as Member of Parliament for South West St Andrew in 2 days.
This evening we have team coverage beginning with TVJ's Andrea Chisholm, who is outside Vale Royal. Over to you, Andrea.
People, by the way, when she resigned, it's just a Vale Royal never mash up, and Andrew take it on this stride, turn it in a back road.
World.
Thank you very much, Archibald and Doreen. I'm here at Vale Royal, the official residence of the Prime Minister, where the Prime Minister himself will be hosting a reception in honor of Mrs. Simpson Miller. A number of dignitaries are here. Earlier, I saw the Chief Justice Ssl Saga and members of the Diplomatic Corps. And later, in a more relaxed setting, they will be paying tribute to Mrs. Simpson Miller for her over 40 years of service to the Jamaican people. But let's take you inside Gordon House, where members of both houses of Parliament paid a tribute to her earlier. The atmosphere there could be described as warm and fuzzy.
Political royalty robed in white arriving to pounding desks and a standing ovation during a joint sitting of the lower and upper houses of Parliament.
To pay tribute to the Most Honourable Portia Lucretia Simpson Miller, ON MP, on her retirement.
Senators reciprocated the familiar greeting of Portia Simpson Miller, hugs and kisses all around. The history-making moment was evident through the presence of former Prime Ministers Edward Seaga and P.J. Patterson, as well as Speaker of the House of the Assembly in the Cayman Islands, Makiva Bush. Prime Minister Andrew Holness said Mrs. Simpson Miller was a metaphor of hope and strength for the Jamaican people as she attained the highest office, that of a Prime Minister.
This is no ordinary feat, and you are no ordinary woman. We pay homage to you today, and we identify with your song, the strength of a woman.
He also described her as a genuine person who always had the less fortunate at the forefront of her mind.
You have been the voice that has kept the government focused on policies and programs that are beneficial to the poor.
So, you tell the people.
All right. Evidence.
You're hearing people. That's what I say. You can't just,
All right. Here we go.
Me not tell you, never see it. Me I go into the archive now. But me just rewind and play it back.
Fortunate at the forefront of her mind.
You have been the voice that has kept the government focused on policies and programs that are beneficial to the poor. And I have studied you in that regard. I have observed how you have operated. And I am saying to you on your retirement that you don't have to worry. There is a new defender of the poor people.
Come on, man.
Go one side, man.
You him study all our movements. Him do it with Michael, man. That's what
yeah.
A carbon copy, brother.
Yeah, man.
It's a genuine person who always had the less fortunate at the forefront of her mind.
You have been the voice that has kept the government focused on policies and programs that are beneficial to the poor. And I have studied you in that regard. I have observed how you have operated. And I am saying to you on your retirement that you don't have to worry. There is a new defender
of the poor people of Jamaica.
You must say rather man 15 years to the boy. And if this is for me, Jamaica, but me never hear start tell about it before.
That can't be defending the poor.
A guy a wicked man.
That cannot be defending the poor.
I mean it, you know. I study Mama P and him study Michael Manley.
Michael Manley.
Him dangerous.
The current leader of the opposition recalled Mrs. Simpson Miller's contribution as Minister of Tourism, Sport and Labour.
It is indeed indisputable that during her tenure as Minister of Labour, the confidence that she inspired in both the labour movement and the employers contributed greatly to ensuring stability in the industrial relations climate in the country in what was admittedly a very difficult economic environment.
It was very visionary
very difficult economic
on her part to have created a Ministry of Climate Change. And I heard the Prime Minister speaking about that and asked me to administer that named portfolio. Mr. Speaker, when that occurred, Jamaica was the first Caribbean country that had identified such a portfolio.
And while parliamentarians paid tribute to the woman known affectionately as Sister P or Mama P, some PNP supporters were also outside Gordon House to honor her legacy.
She's a wonderful lady, and I respect her. She did a great job for Jamaica, right? And the world. In 2011, when Jamaica teared down, nobody wanted to see Jamaica. And him and Peter Phillips come and fix it, right?
I remember when I left my country, come to town, and Michael couldn't read. Is she? Make I have a thing in my head, read and write. Plus the house I'm living in, she give me. So it's my mother that. So I feel it, how she'll leave. But I beg God to help her.
Be strong, Mama P. You're not leaving your constituency. Whosoever you put there, you will still be there. By Jesus' mercy. Mama P, we all love you. We miss you. We miss you, Mama P. We miss you.
Who do you want to replace her?
Well, I don't know. God, mercy and grace will send someone of her pattern.
PNP supporters there sharing in the history-making moment, the retirement of Portia Simpson Miller from representational politics. And no...
That me I tell you, if you draw them things, I will listen to him say him copy him this and him the new poor people defender. No man, poor people. Him the new, well, him just a brand new something like a chopper. Because she defend poor people. For real. She not rich. Where Mama P have? Where them people have? Andrew richer than everybody else both, you know. Hands up, hands down.
What is significant, is that Portia Simpson served for 40 years and leave politics basically with nothing because she give it all to her constituency. She help the people with burial and education. Portia Simpson never administrate business alongside being the Prime Minister or a parliamentarian. And that span over 4 decades. Yeah, but when you look at Andrew Holness, not serving that length of time, but a trillion times wealthier than Portia Simpson. What can go so? What can go so? And even the 2016 election, they robbed that because Dan Anderson had the PNP leading by 4 percentage points going into the election. They robbed it because they are criminal.
About one thing them win, one
seat.
But remember, say him that come up with the bagger, the answer thing. I say, Sister P. You remember when I say, I don't feel that no man and the one of them gang up and them spend the money and money I spent from Ssl and
that's why I said them rob it. And them rob it. Them use money and buy the vote. Them all stuff ballot box. Them dash the ballot box. We know all of these things.
Yeah. Them do a lot of things. So we know
something fine, man.
Yeah, what this clip you play show class, a lady that's filled with class. And I'm surprised that the criminal prime minister say he studied her, because he lacks class. And if he really had truly had zoned in on her personality and character, he would probably gain a little class. And then it shows that she has empathy. That she said that even if it was a person with a green shirt, green, wristband, she would have gave to them. She would have stopped and helped them. While we see this government that we have today build houses under their indigenous program and social housing development, new social housing development program, only for their own in their party. And it just goes to show you the difference between a true leader versus a wannabe leader that would tear down his opponent with lies and deception back in 2015 because he was hungry for power to continue his criminality from when he first came into government back in 1997. Mama P left a legacy that was for the poor and helping people along the way. And with her going to the IMF to realize that, Jamaica economy was broken like it is today. It's in the tank. It crashed. And it's a pattern of the Jamaica Labour Party that whenever they get into the government, they wreck the economy. You can look at Saga days in the 80s, and now Michael Manley came back in 89, and then followed by Prime Minister Patterson to save the economy. Then when Bruce Golding came in, couldn't get, didn't fulfill his bargain with the IMF. And so it put Jamaica on a blacklist, and Mama P saved the economy from going over the abyss of the precipice because of the lack of management of the economy. And then today, when Comrade Leader Mark Golding will win, he's gonna inherit an economy that's crashed in the pits, no money, broke. When he when his justice, the minister, lock up all of the criminals in SSL, he's gonna have to freeze their assets and seize their assets and freeze their bank account, liquidate it, and put all of those billions of taxpayer money that they stole back into the economy, because Jamaica is really broke. I mean, we went over a list of money they borrowed from 2016 up until last year, and Jamaica is in debt. And so, Comrade Leader Mark Golding was a banker. He was a real estate guru. He was a successful businessman. And I'm sure he has a policy right now, which he won't reveal to these criminals, how to save the economy. So when we look at Portia, Mama P, and this criminal we have, it's like night and day. It's like dark and light cannot, dwell together. And so I'm grateful for her commitments to Jamaica and how she saved the economy. And when the historians write the book based on her legacy sometime in the future, it's going to show that she saved Jamaica at a critical point, just like the next Prime Minister, Comrade Leader Mark Golding coming in, is going to have to do the same thing. These people don't know how to manage nothing. Everything they put their hands on, them wreck it, them destroy it. Right now, the country, they must say, well, the recession started because of Barrel. I lie them I tell.
Rubbish.
The economy, rubbish. Yes, the economy starts shrinking from January into March, 1.9% from the previous quarter in 2023. And then from April 1st to June the 30th, the economy flatlined 0.01%. That was before Burial. Those were red flags and indicator that the economy is in trouble. And then the period of Burial from July 1st to September 30th, the economy declined by 3.5%. Now, fourth quarter from October 1st to December 31st, the economy declined again by 1.8%. And so when we look at a 12-month period of 2024, the economy has been crashing from 9 months out of 12 months. The only quarter they had little growth, and it was a weak growth, was in the first quarter of 2024 of 1.9%. Weak growth. And ever since then, the economy has been tanking. So guess what? Based upon those revelations, Jamaica economy has been in a recession since September last year, 2024. And one more point, with the new Trump policies in America, the economy, sadly to say, but it's the truth, remittance is going to be down all of this year. Tourism is going to be down all of this year because of, and then they cutting out spending and fraud, waste, and abuse from the U.S. budget and identifying how much waste and fraud that was in the previous administration. So the economy is going to continue suffering. And then this government only have three options. Either them raise taxes, which is a bad thing to do in a recession, them cut spending, which is bad because it's going to hurt the people when you cut government programs, or them borrow more money. But look at all the money they borrow from 2016 till now, from the Caribbean Development Bank, the Inter-America Development Bank, the World Bank, and the IMF. They borrowed so much money that right now, I doubt if they're going to get a loan from even the IMF or the World Bank or the Caribbean Development Bank. So the truth is, Comrade Leader Mark Golding and his government will have to seize their assets, all of them mansion, them over them now have no mortgage for, where them use taxpayers' money and buy, and put it back into the economy to save the economy. Back over to you.
Yes, man. So, with the economy gone, and as I said before, Byron and Melting Pot, but every time I kick up, but Byron, Melting Pot, and Pastor Vicky, you know, when they run out and talk about Beryl, come on now. A matter of fact, the man said the economy, it's so, you know, it's so, when the word with Andrew Holness, can say it bounce back quick, you know. Resilient.
It's resilient. It's not resilient.
He
It's
said the
crap.
most the resilience the economy has ever been.
It's
Nigel Clark was gloating about it as well, saying that is the first Jamaica have reserve net worth 5.8 billion, but it's borrow money more side. But just one thing, you know, to add to what Pastor Ricky said. When you add up all the decrease in the economy, it adds up to 5.7 overall. 5.7% depreciation.
Yeah, depreciation, yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
So,
they promise to grow the economy 5 and 4. They have never grown the economy past 3%. What the 5 and 4, what them promised from back in when him first became prime minister, it never happened. Them don't know what to do.
In 2020, it -9.
That never get off the ground, the 5 and 4. That's why certain man run where I left them post. That's why certain man when them give big posts, them run where left it. Because that never get off the ground, you know. That was a scam, the 5 and 4.
Brother, what are they? So Leachin, we never say resign or you say nothing. After you come and go Israel and say, anybody will go get growth. Me have it here, you know. I may replay it. You know, so me have the, you know, me have the. Hey, but you know, we talk to them, we don't want them cancer fail, because you know, we just clap feet and play it.
Exactly.
Because when we attack, we like, because much time we have other people and new people that watch us all the while, because that's how it goes. And people, you know, when we talk, we like, hold them by them own word, not our word. We don't do tabloid.
Exactly.
We don't do something different, you know. See? So Leaching did come out on a boast about 5 and 4.
Yeah.
And him get growth. Eh? When them say
Yeah.
play
it, man. Yeah, man. That's why we mention it, man. Certain people run away, you know.
Leaching, I'm going to draw for Leaching 5 and 4 because Leaching, while people don't separate Leaching. I want to, you know, Leaching. The 5 and 4, I see you somewhere to the 5 and 4. I see the 5 and 4 now, Leaching Hospital. Take leave from NCB, Leaching. Jamaica Prime Minister. All right, I say where you say you're different. I say where you're different now, Leaching. I say how should I be? Agriculture, industry. The agriculture. All right, I could do this. I could hear this. Leaching. Then back the Prime Minister.
So now I just came back from a trade mission with the Prime Minister to Israel. And I was aghast, actually, when I saw reports in the newspapers, we're going to Israel for, right? I was aghast because I'm thinking, We need growth. We need to go everywhere in the world that can give us growth. Instead, if you can give us growth, I don't care. I'm going there. Yes. Right? So please, let's not get drawn into the global politics and our kids starve. You see the article, you see it, headlines and editorials, stupid actually. So let's just remember what we need. It's enough. We're tired of having skinny kids, right? So went to Israel.
Yeah, we're tired of having skinny kids. So we have fat kids now. We have healthy kids now. Remember, for them chat, this is not the first term.
On a trade mission. That's how I saw it. And the ambition is to come back with companies, is to sell Jamaica to the most eminent Israeli companies so they can come invest in Jamaica. That was my mission. So when we met with the Prime Minister of Israel, I said, please, Prime Minister, can you help us do that? Organize the 50 top companies in Israel, and I'll come back in the next 2 months and speak to them and tell them why they should come and invest in Jamaica. Yes. So I'm going back to Israel. And
people, how much Israel investment him get? From the millions where them spend go over there.
I go to Saudi Arabia, and I go to England and America. Same message. And you know what the message they're going to hear? Here's the message they're all going to hear. If God gave you an opportunity to select an island, where would you put it? If God gave you an opportunity to select a time zone, which time zone? What geographical features? What language? What legal framework? Then I'm going to say to them, tell me, of all the 220 countries in the world.
220 countries in the world?
You man, you're lying, brother. We don't have so much country in the world.
Hold on there. I'm man fully dunks, man. 220 countries in the world.
We don't have 220 countries in the world.
Hold on there. But you have to talk to England where we get independence from. I will speak English. And he must say, if God give you which part you put it. Then at this year, I really go talk to people. Then he was the senior ambassador for 4 and 5. You know, see, I said this.
Which one is the only one that would fit all of those criteria? Only one. And you're not there? And by the way, I'm not just talking here, because I know I'm an investor in Jamaica. So I can vouch for what has happened. I know. So I can talk their language.
No, that making a sense. That fully.
Give me a piece of that nonsense here. Let me just drop one line on him. I'm going to ask my panelists in front of me. What is synonymous between Andrew Holness and Michael Leachin? Please tell the panel.
Them are Siamese twin.
Both
and you want to know. You know me find synonymous between the two of them. None of them can tell nobody how them becomes rich. Where them get the wealth from, them cannot explain it.
No.
And they are liars on top of it.
And this them make sense. Where you put him for run something. Yeah?
Remember, I know. They might interview this guy, I know. And him say, I asked himself recently how him get so wealthy. And you can't tell where him get him wealthy either. So that's what I find synonymous between the two of them and Israel. Are two criminal them fly out and go Israel. We don't know them to call. No, Jamaica can benefit from that overseas tour to Israel. And we see a guy come back and tell about him gonna go see the Prime Minister intervention to link Jamaica with the top 50 investors in Israel. And he will come back in 2 months' time. Yet 2 months has elapsed. We don't hear nothing more. This guy run away. This guy run out of Jamaica. I remember I'm the ambassador for the 4 and 5. But he run away.
There's 2 more things with him now. I'm going to get mad now. Yeah, when I tell Peter Phillips. Let me hear when I say Peter Phillips. 2015. But if we're going to look at archive, I'll look away. 2015.
The then finance minister, Minister Peter Phillips, said, Mike, this is just before we signed the IMF agreement. Mike, I will do anything to to make sure we don't get back into this situation. Wow. Because I had to literally, figuratively crawl across the room on my belly to beg for help.
Yeah, leeching, I tell you, what Peter Philip put up me, hey, me have them in a better. So I'm going to pray back, boy, when you have to move, you know, man, yeah.
I can remember back in 2013, the then finance minister, Minister Peter Phillips, said, Mike, this is just before we signed the IMF agreement. Mike, I will do anything to make sure we don't get back into this situation. Wow. Because I had to literally, figuratively crawl across the room on my belly to beg for help. I'll never put another generation of Jamaica through that. We're too blessed to have done that. Yeah. So I do anything to make sure we don't get back in that situation.
You know, Sir Andrew, them
hold on. Lonesome. Beg your talk. Because this strike a card in me as it relates to what Michael Leachin, right, had just said. No, I've never seen this clip before. This is the first time I'm seeing this clip. You understand? So thank you to bring this forward. And so then let me just, use this opportunity to speak on what Michael Leachin said as it relates to speaking in terms of what Peter Phillips said. And Peter Phillips stated that, right, as it relates to what he had gone through to fix the economy. What Jamaicans need to realize, to use this conviction as it relates to what Michael Leachin stated a while ago, and know that Andrew Holness, I want people to zero in on Andrew Holness. Zero in on Andrew Holness. And to know that Andrew Holness and all the JLP criminal thugs who had now put the Jamaica economy in a current state where the economy declined by 3.5%. Now we are talking about the decline. During Portia Simpson, moving forward with IMF, has never faced anything like that. Now, what Andrew Holness had put Jamaica through, what Peter Phillips spoke about, never wanting to see the generation go through something like what happened between 2007 to 2011. Peter Phillips today and many Jamaicans is now looking at something far way worse than 2011. Jamaica, I want Jamaica to hear me. In spite of what Andrew Holness are pretty up with the PR and all of that, Peter Phillips, anyway, Peter Phillips dead right now. Peter Phillips know that what he told Michael Leachin, that under no circumstances he'd want to put the generation through that. Today, as we speak, Andrew Holness led administration, Andrew Holness administration have reversed every success that Portia Simpson had done and put the country in a deeper debt than 2011. And I'm telling every Jamaican that. Now, the signs that you need to look forward to. One, the corruption index 2025 is telling Jamaicans that the corruption proportion hit Jamaica where it fall 4-digit downwards. It simply means it is speaking about Andrew Holness led administration. So when we move from the corruption index and we go to the auditor general, the auditor general is saying, Jamaican, look, be aware. But the JLP want to call it whatever, right, in terms of what I am looking on as the auditor general. We are talking about $3 trillion unaccounted for. And let me wake up Jamaica in terms of what that means. So I asked the Jamaican people, what is our national debt? What is our total threshold of debt? Our total threshold of debt is $2.3 trillion. What sort of money are we talking about as it relates to what the Auditor General cannot properly account it for, regardless of all the spinning that Andrew Holness is spinning Jamaican PR, what don't make no sense, and lick their chest. Our administration spend the most on health, you don't know how health go, because you know that the United States issue a travel advisory telling their citizens to avoid Jamaica because the health crisis, the health situation is in a crisis. Regardless of how they are spinning it, and where you have Horace Chang, right, who cannot travel to the United States as a result of anticipating to be arrested at any time, as a result of the level of criminality, and where Horace Chang is who? The Deputy Prime Minister of Jamaica. But there's no doubt there. There's no surprise there, because who is the Prime Minister of Jamaica? The head cook and buckle washer. You understand what I'm saying? The mastermind of SSL. The mastermind of criminality. The mastermind who guided his administration as it relates to not signing the code of conduct because they plan to execute a serious crisis.
Yeah, man, yeah, mix it.
No, we give them the hey brother, you make me get it. Come in,
yeah, man, I forget them it, man.
Because we know you can say it, I forget the fist. To the
exactly.
Fist. When them say we give them the fist, them say what all the man them now put my finger no a fist on you, so.
Yes.
Name fist.
So this is what you understand the Jamaica is dealing with. When people Google, right, the poverty rate, it has increased over 20%. People are feeling the pangs and hell of the inflation. Now, when you look as it relates to the purchasing power, so when Andrew Holness and the cruelty of Andrew Holness administration getting up, trying to put the holes over people's eye, that no administration in the history of Jamaica had lifted the minimum wage to $15,000. Let me ask you a question, Andrew Holness. Let us compare your $15,000 as it relates to Portia Simpson time, right? And Portia Simpson, at that time, you understand, where the minimum wage was $5,000 and your $15,000. What was the purchasing power of the minimum wage, right? Getting a person getting minimum wage $5,000. What could that buy in 2012, in 2015? What could that buy, right? It could buy a lot more than what your $15,000 can buy. So why don't you speak the truth in terms of speaking on the purchasing power versus the rate of inflation? But guess what? Many Jamaicans do you speak to, right? They are not going to speak to you about the purchasing power versus the rate of inflation. And this is where you get it wrong.
But
right?
let me say something to you now. But here this Andrew Holness, and this is the truth, right? Because I know him talk some things when it don't make sense. What make a rub him out right now? Right now you have to stop it. If you're the present Prime Minister and you have a raise, because President might remember every year or every 2 years, public sector wages. Don't it raise by 10% or what have you?
Yes.
You can tell me now, a previous government, if you are the present government and you are going to raise the fare, whether bus fare, whenever say no administration raise bus fare like when you raise it and put it at taxi fare. Because when the truth is, when you raise something, it will go up more, don't it?
Exactly.
And the power, but back where my carry it go?
Yeah.
My carry it forward. So it will go forward. So why not that? No administration, oh, you're so big and full.
Exactly.
That makes sense to you, brother. You are the president and you're going to raise. If I raise something from $10, when I raise it, I raise it. Raise me not say it a decrease, it a increase. When I put $1, $2, it now raise. Which administration? Administration come after you as yet? No, you're the present administration. So if you got $12, or you compete with the administration, you hear that? You're the present administration and you raise it. So what happened to that? It make any sense, brother? Eh? If you raise police, if you raise police, the police pay, right? If a 10% this year, who are the government? Eh? So if you move from $200 to even $210, you can't say no administration, you're the present government. And them do them raise to where them sign. What up? This is not something for you say no administration, because the administration will come after you and them still have to get raised up here same way. So it will leave your administration in the back. See what happened to this idiot? So when I'm saying these things, I don't know who for brain that I play upon. Because the truth is, if you're present administration and people forget to raise up here, and you're going to raise the pay. So if it is there, $100, and if you go $105 by run, I want to raise it.
Mama have to raise it. Mama P can't raise it.
So when Bible come in now, and then forget raise up here, when Mark say no administration, you can't compare because you're the present administration. You know, see my
Exactly.
stop the this, the people if you run them, man. You are the present administration. So when Mark Wallen come in and the people then forget them 10% or 20%. When them raise them, I come and say, no other administration raise the fear when we put it out the minimum. That makes sense?
No.
Rubbish. Them thing they're not something when the government supposed to come talk about. Because in a year time, and you have to move the goalpost.
Thank you,
because it is negotiable. It has a time frame that it becomes retroactive. That it has to go through that process of negotiation.
And it have to go up whether ever $10 and next Mark Golden come over and take over now. If a next year and the people then forget to raise up here, it have a pass where you will leave it, sir.
Have to.
It's another pass. And Mark will come like, and Mark not stupid like you and Jonas to come there.
Man, I don't have time to wait to talk about that.
If the police raise the fear, like that makes sense.
Father
man,
Lord.
The people them must shut up, man. I'll be a bullshit attack all the time. It don't make no sense, brother. At time for you shut him down and rub him out.
Even though I'm saying
you know what, Pastor Ricky, I make a talk. You know what, although I'm saying we spend the most money. Him come and tell the same no, nothing for repair hospital and things. The people are dead like flying there. Not even this. And I then told this to save a man's life and them never even have it. See me have it when I go, you're so long you're there, by man. If me know the man, you could have get it, maybe the man that still alive now. You still them spend billions. Don't forget boot. Yes,
Pastor. Billions.
Yeah, even though I'm saying raise the minimum wage to 15,000, which is currently equivalent to $97 a week. And nobody in America work for $97 per week. That's a low wage, right? And then the thing that I'm saying raise minimum wage, it also take back the purchasing power from the people then, because when them raise the light bill, the light from 150 kilowatts to bring it from 300 kilowatts.
Drop it from 300, yeah.
From 300 kilowatts to 150 kilowatts.
Yes.
And raise the price of the light bill, the cost of utility expenses for everybody who pay a light bill. So even though I'm giving them an increase in the minimum wage, I'm indirectly take it back as a result of high cost of living.
Taxes for everything. That's what Byron said. It don't have it. It can't the purchase. All right. If you
Valid
have
prosperity.
2015 for $250, and now $700, what the purchasing power, brother?
Exactly.
The thing get. How much you have a cement then how much feet now? If you build a house, you can't use it. How much you have 1,000 black, how much feet now? How much feet then how much feet now? This man can't treat nobody, brother. We crunch numbers. Him silly. When I talk, if you just push it like this, you are the present government. If the police, them or the nurse, them forget pay, that means it's higher than when Porsche seems similar. Well, okay? And when Mark Wallen come in and him raise it higher than when you were around. What happened to you? Go sit down with this piece of bullshit.
But watch this now.
You're going to rob the country at riches. Stop chatting.
Yeah, where the nastiness get to people them. Yeah? The nastiness get to people them through perception are using numbers, 15,000. But 15,000 does not value the 6,000 that you used to get. Yeah, so I also have the video too. But them get some little girl to come to some PR. I'm a 15,000 minimum wage now, Yeah. But the 15,000 are going away. Because the man suck it back from with a vacuum. Near new tax.
Add on for life, for liberty. When you get about your bed, when you get a PhD, you have to eat food, who go work, who go school, who not even work, you still have to eat. Light bill, your cast, light, water, clothes, everything. Add on the money, how much money you pay for that, if the money where they might give, you can manage it. Everything going up,
But remember, the man mash up the economy in a loan sum. The man mash the economy and weak the dollars, so your money not have no value. Because I take the dollars at 120 odd, yeah? And right now currently at almost 160.
160 now, so.
You understand? So when we say
me have that too, When I tell us when the dollar devalue, wait to and everything, and we will stabilize the dollar, we are going to bring it up. See that?
He mash up the dollar. He mash it up.
Joe, remember me have the archive.
Yeah, mash up the dollars. So when him come here, when now come nothing.
Yes.
The man a come and chat garbage. Yeah, and we want Jamaican people understand this. Forget about $15,000 compared to where you used to get the minimum wages under Mama P. Yeah? Mama P package at the time had more purchasing power. Yeah. And Mama P wasn't sucking back the wages from you. To the extent where this nasty regime government has sucked back the wages from you. With new tax, when them go no new tax. We're not killing you with new tax.
Well controlled by taxes.
Every time the dollar depreciate, cost of living rise higher.
Of course.
Remember.
Yeah, man. All right, so I'm ready right now. But let me show you this. As I move right now, because my time to go mash up some big and I have to move, I remember everything. But let me show you a quick thing where only say yes. So now after showing this, because they're not showing this. Oh, two little things I show the fast Byron. I want you wait there. I want you the man I look $1 billion from owned motorists. Not my word. Not my word. $1 billion. See that? Look. From my screen.
Government target $1 billion from traffic ticket.
Target,
Target.
You know what, ticket people. But you are target $1 billion.
This is what I mean. I'm a caring government.
Yeah. It's crazy.
The police get ticketed crazy, brother. So exactly. I run right now because Byron have to move. But Byron, what does this people? But if you have a little laugh before I go out and this serious. I know I show you this. This serious, I want a serious, very serious. We never say a green card, I want to show a green card. We never say a green card yet, or green card look. Let me show you a green card, how it look. Yeah, look on this, just look on the screen. That is a green card.
Yeah.
All right.
That is a see that.
That is a green card.
That is a green card.
A green card, people. It's not a green card, look. That is a green card, and that's where I take it tonight. That is a sure green card.
Sure green card.
Okay? Boy, them young youth, boy, they not too much, not all about them, man.
Yeah, tell you. So,
them shoot better. But
all right.
anyway, better the short Brian.
Always end when it get nicer, but that's so.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm going to jump tomorrow night.
All right.
Yeah, man.
All right, good night.
The Titans, no two way about it. 1 a.m.